Alrighty, 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to episode 233 of the KBMOD podcast. It is May 1st, 2016. Welcome to May, you guys. We did it. May in 2016. Where's the time gone? It's flown by.
It's gonna be May. Ha.
Oh,
hey, JT.
Yes. Oh man, the JT meme.
It's gonna be May.
Props to him though for actually tweeting that and getting, a very high amount of engagement, which I'm sure he
had a lot of retweet penetration.
He did.
With that.
He did. He knows a thing or two about retweet penetration after that one.
He does. So yeah, it's we are back. We were off last week. Well, off. We had some stuff come up, so we weren't here, but we are back now. Brandon, you were at. Well, we do have to talk about PAX a little bit. I'm sure we will with you.
Yeah, I forgot. That's only a week ago.
Only a week, yeah. That has transpired since then. But yeah, how's everybody been doing? You were at PAX last week. Katie, you. What about you, Katie? How are you doing?
Nothing. I'm doing pretty well. Nothing really.
Oh, nothing happened? I know there's a storm
going
on right now for you. So.
Katie's is under tornado warning right now. So if he has to duck out unexpectedly, it's to save his life.
Yeah. At any time, the roof's just going to get torn off my house.
He did say that he would jump on Skype on his mobile phone, though, and use his data plan if he had to go to the cellar. So.
Oh, if there's rain pouring in through the house and I still have internet on my PC, I'm not moving. Like, the show must go on.
That's dedication.
Yeah, that is
Someone's got to do the release cycle.
Just grab an umbrella or something. You don't want to get water in the case.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Take
this ancient desk that I have my PC in, so no water getting in.
That desk, that picture of your desk, that's just like from 18
Oh yeah. Now that one I planted things. I took out my actual keyboard and put like an old USB keyboard, like a wireless one there. I was putting like pill bottles in place. I was putting little Easter eggs.
I feel like you might accidentally. I feel like that you might accidentally find the Declaration, like another copy of the Declaration of Independence in one of your drawers. If you ever have to dismantle that desk.
So cool. God, moving this thing into my room was such a nightmare. It is so damn heavy. You would believe how heavy it is.
Is it oak? Made out of solid oak? I feel like probably.
It must be. It's some kind of wood. I'm not really that knowledgeable about.
Yes,
love a good oak.
Yes, I love Gary Oak. Anyway, I don't know what we're doing. All right, well let's jump. Let's just Brad, how are you doing? Sorry, you haven't said anything.
I'm good. I actually haven't been on the cast, I think, for like 3 or 4 weeks now.
All right, well you got a lot to cut. Well then, yeah, let's hear it, man. You probably
I'll talk a little bit about it, but I was suffering from a crippling Rust addiction.
Oh God.
I
Ever
literally
since we
had
talked
to
about Rust
it.
on the cast, he was so triggered by the fact that they randomly assign you a gender and a race that he had to make a statement by playing through
by not appearing.
Yeah,
that actually made the game a lot better. I'll talk about that later. But but yeah, so I was suffering from that addiction. Then I had to uninstall it after I saw how many hours I was putting into it, and then since then, I haven't played a single thing. I did. I've been applying to work, finishing up school. Not much else really is going on. Breaking out the camera again. I'm like exploring life now. Figuring out what my purpose is now that I'm not playing Rust.
You sound dangerously close to being a well-rounded individual. So I'm gonna go ahead and just be aware of that, and maybe go a little extreme into something. Don't not too much moderation.
Individuals have never been what this cast has been about, Brad. So you need to to find something.
To put it in perspective, I'm a full-time student. I work, I do gigs on the side, and then I was putting over 20 hours of Rust in every single week. So there was no sleep. I was going to sleep at like 3 a.m, and then I'd wake up to go to class at 9. So
that does sound like an addiction. Yeah, I think that's a fair.
Yeah,
there were definitely some times that I saw you on my Steam friends list, and I saw that you were in game in Rust. But you know how there's always those friends where you just see them in game, all the time, and you're
they're like idling.
You're like
either
something. They're idling, or I don't know what's going on. Maybe a friend's playing on their account or something like that. But you don't want to message them and be like, "Is everything okay?" You know, like
You doing all right, man? You need to talk to someone. Like, no, man, just playing Rust. But no, that's really all I've been doing. So, applying to work. That's been interesting. I fucking hate cover letters. That is the worst. I don't know.
They are the
For the
worst.
life of me, I struggle with them so hard.
Brandon, as somebody that probably has, I don't know if you look at resumes all the time, but does the cover letter,
Pretty
does that really do it for you?
I mean, it's one of those things that it is the worst to do because you sort of have to tailor it to each job you apply for. And so, like in Brad's case, when you're applying to, probably multiple jobs, you've got to like really think about a cover letter for each one. Whereas your resume, most people just have one resume. They make sure that looks good and they send it out. But I mean, a good cover letter can definitely make a difference. But they are not. I mean, they are not fun to write. It's a lot of work.
God, I was hoping you would just let Brad off the hook and be like, "Yeah, cover letters are garbage. You don't need them."
I mean,
sorry,
the
Brad.
thing is, like, there is, I don't know. There's like some value to it, but a cover letter can also like tank you if you have like a bunch of spelling mistakes or something. Like there have been some cover letters that actually, like, you look at the resume and you're like, okay, you probably had your mom or someone look over this, but you look at the cover letter and you can tell that like they didn't have time to get that proofread, and then you throw that one in the garbage.
Brandon,
I feel like he's talking about me right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's probably looked at mine to Twitch and just let's pick apart Brad's just subtly.
No, I'm just describing. Listen, I would treat you the same way I would anyone else. If your cover letter's garbage, I'll throw it away.
Somebody's getting thrown out. Friendship really doesn't have any place. I know. All right, well that's good. Well, I'm glad. So, but will you ever? So, let's say you get a job, Brad. You have
the
a
moment I
schedule.
get a job, I'm remoting into my computer and fucking reinstalling it.
You're gonna remote? Wow, not even wait to
no
get
matter
home.
where I'm at. I have it set up on my phone and everything, so I can just go into my computer and just we're good to go.
Okay. All right, there you go. So you're just basically doing this for your own, just so that you can like focus and get the stuff done you need to. Okay, that's respectable. All right, well, Brandon, you should talk a little bit about PAX since you had that happen last week. How did PAX East go?
It was really fun. I mean, PAX at this point is more about the people I see there and less about the games and things. But it is always fun to traverse the show floor. Apparently, PAX East, from what I understand, it was the biggest PAX they've had so far, which I was surprised at because PAX Prime in Seattle is massive, and PAX East it feels like a smaller show floor. It feels like a little bit smaller show, but apparently it's the largest one they've ever done. They had a ton of booths on the floor. They had like some esports stuff going on. Riot had a stage. They were doing like a collegiate LOL thing. They were doing some Street Fighter stuff. They packed a ton of stuff onto that show floor in a way that I have not felt before. Like, even though it's just one main show floor, just walking around, I didn't feel like I was really able to see everything. Anyway, it was a great show. Obviously, we had the Twitch booth there. Saw a lot of cool people. The ARC booth had like a massive dinosaur in it. That was probably like the most gaudy thing, was the ARC booth with this huge T-Rex. Other stuff was like, I mean, there was cool stuff, but not anything as crazy as that.
So I have to bring this up because I saw the Twitter feed. I saw that you went to IHOP twice while in Boston.
Yeah.
And you said, I mean, again, I'm just going to assume you don't have to share any of this. I assume there were some drinks had prior to attending this IHOP. And I don't know if that was because there wasn't really a Denny's option that was walkable or close. But you said overall it wasn't that terrible, and you were a little bit surprised by that. So talk about that a little bit.
So I will stand by those tweets. So we looked for a Denny's, obviously, as you do, after the bars close. And the closest Denny's from where we were was like 16 miles.
Okay,
and
fair.
And so like possible to go to, but not really feasible, right?
No.
Especially not with like a large group of people that are inebriated. there were like, I think there's another diner, like kind of a local diner, but you know, those can kind of be hit and miss. And so there was an IHOP relatively close, and so that's where we had to go. Basically, Boston does not have like a wealth of selection when it comes to late night diners, which is, you know, is unfortunate. It must just not be a part of their culture, which is a shame.
Their culture? Yeah, I guess not. I mean,
but so at IHOP, I actually had a really nice omelet at like 3 a.m, and I went there again the next night, had the same thing. So, you know, I will give them credit for coming in the clutch when Denny's was not there. I was not disappointed in IHOP. They will never be Denny's. They couldn't be. But you know what? If there is no Denny's around, I will accept you going to an IHOP. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to confirm. I just didn't know if your loyalty had shifted at all. It sounds like, okay, you're still, it's just
basically, here's what happened is like Denny's is always first choice, but now if there is no Denny's and I'm looking and there's like a whole bunch of other diner options and I don't really recognize them,
you'll go. Yes.
Before I might have taken a chance, but now maybe I'll be like, you know what? IHOP is like the good, safe second choice.
Okay. Fair enough.
You gotta have a diner hierarchy.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that was, to me, I mean, obviously, yeah, PAX looked fun, but that was the most shocking. You know, those series of tweets really shook me to my core. The truth is, though, I haven't been to a Denny's since I've been in Pittsburgh. There's an IHOP like relatively close. And for like, again, if you're going to get pancakes or just basic breakfast food, like I avoid, like it's acceptable. I still prefer Denny's, but I'm in the same vein.
If you're getting pancakes, go to IHOP. Like that's what they do. But like basically
you're getting
anything
other
else,
food though.
Yeah,
yes,
anything else
exactly.
like Denny's is there's no question.
Agreed on that.
But yeah, it was a good weekend. I wish you could have gone, Scott.
Yeah, I know, man. It looked like it ended up being really fun. I just am not a huge fan of
the weather in Boston was really nice.
Okay,
like basically the nicest weather PAX East has ever had because they did it so late in April. It was like really, like just really nice, pretty mild, like hoodie weather.
Damn. Yeah, it sounds like it was a really good PAX. I mean, honestly, for me, I can't. I just am so over the, like, again, it would be about the people. So anyway, that's why I'm going.
That's what it's about.
That's what it always is. But like, I just don't like even getting passes to actually go to PAX. I'm not like, I might just go and get a room or something and then just hang out with people outside of it. Because you don't even necessarily have to go to the show. But the spark is gone. Nothing excites me enough. Even if I have media access to go into some fucking Blackroom and they're going to show me some pre-rendered footage of fucking I don't know, the climb to Mount Everest made by the same creators of DayZ or whatever. I can't do it anymore. I just don't care at all. There's really nothing. So but yeah, it did look like it was a good time. I'm excited for TwitchCon. That I'm locked in for this year. I'm trying to decide if I'm doing anything else, but TwitchCon I'm definitely locked in for, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I think the thing with PAX is like there's so many cool games there now, and I do love seeing new games. But it's also like I know that they will be at other PAXs, like other conventions, and so I'm never. Right. I feel like I'm just not. I don't know. There's nothing. I'm just like pining to play because I'm at that point where I can wait until there's not a long line or something, and especially like. There are some people who wait hours to play a game. Like if that's what you get out of your PAX, then by all means, like I don't want to stand in those people's way. Like I don't need to play those games. I'll enjoy myself regardless. But some people stand in line for hours. That's what they do, and like more power to them.
Hey, yeah, different strokes for different folks. I mean, I also have to be careful too, because like there was a time
there were a ton
when
of
I was
people in
reading
line for Overwatch. Like I guess I can't. I should have interviewed some of them and been like, "What are you standing in this line for? Like this game is a known quantity." But there are people standing in line for Overwatch.
They're like, "You heard of this? You seen this new thing Blizzard? This is the new thing Blizzard's doing. This is insane.
It's kind of like around their booth to play Overwatch."
I think that's what kills.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm only going to do like a one day pass for any of the PAXs in the future. I don't want to stand in line to play a game. Like I don't know. I'd check out the booths, say hi to people, and I think that's probably all I'll do in the future too.
Same. Yeah, and like honestly, like, and I have to be careful too, though. Like, I'm older and jaded now. Like, and there was a time when I was reading my Game Informer, an official PlayStation magazine, and read about E3, and I was like, man, one day I'm gonna go to E3, and then I got a job at Machinima, and I went to multiple E3s, and I was like, this is the fucking worst. Like, going to E3. Yeah, once you see the underbelly, like E3, we've said this a million times, but E3 is a show that is 100% better at home on 2 monitors on your computer. It's going to the actual show is a real fucking drag. Whereas like PAX is more of a fan event, and there's other ones which are better. But anyway, so but I don't want to be that guy that's just like because people will still, even now, people are like, well, man, you've gone to E3, like how was it? And I try not to sound super jaded, but most of the time I'm just like, yeah, no, it's just not. It's not what you think it is.
It's one of those things where it's always really cool, like the first time.
Yeah.
It's really cool the second time, probably. But after a while, you find other reasons to like going to shows like that. And I think PAX is the same way. Like if you've been to multiple PAXs, you're probably you're probably not going to keep going because of just the games. Right, you'll keep going because you're gonna meet up with friends there, or like I don't know, meet Twitch broadcasters or something. Like the community, I think, is what will keep you going back. But for your every show is really cool because they're always different. It's just that I appreciate the difference by kind of just walking around and seeing a massive T-Rex at a booth. Like that's pretty cool. But I'm not gonna stand in line to take a picture with it because that's like a waste of my time.
Yeah, and it's I think we're all pretty much we'll see. I don't know. See, KD Zen 18, which has been voted as actually 3 years old due to the Twitter poll. That, by the way, for the audio listeners, the Twitter poll this week was how old is KD Zen? I think the options were 3, 15, 45, and something else.
45, yeah.
Oh yes, and so the chat has voted for 3. But Katie, what about as far as have you been to any shows? Or how many shows have you been to?
I haven't. The most thing.
3, so he's
the biggest
probably
thing
not allowed in without.
Yeah. Yeah, I need a chaperone. The biggest thing. I haven't really been to any strictly gaming convention stuff. I've been to a couple Comic-Cons.
Okay.
But as far as something like E3 or PAX, I really do want to go sometime. But I've never been to anything like that. I know PAX is really close,
you look at E3 and go that's something I want to go to right now in your current state.
At least once.
Okay.
Even if it turns out that I don't like it, I still want to experience it.
Yeah, totally. No, definitely. Yeah, going once or twice. I definitely I enjoyed it. It was a spectacle. And it also depends too. I work those events though. I didn't go and anyway, Brandon, you go to tons of events and work them as well. So it is that also can kind of taint your experience, especially if you're working for a game developer or company or whatever. Your experience is going to be a lot different than the people just attending and getting to do whatever.
Yeah, so. I don't want to go there and work for KBMOD. Just ruin my whole time.
Oh yeah.
Now, when you went, this is kind of a dumb question, but when you went to E3, those events the showcases for Sony, PlayStation, Microsoft, are those things you can go in and sit down to, or is that a press only kind of deal?
It honestly depends on it depends on the company and what they're doing. Some of the stuff, E3 is not a show. I mean, basically E3 is all just obviously them showing all their stuff, and it's all media for the most part. There's not really just walking around that aren't involved either in game journalism or with whatever a gaming company in some form. So I mean, I know you can go to E3 and do that, but
I think the showcases too, the press presentations. I'm not sure. Some of those I think are open, but
some of them are. It depends on. Yeah,
but it's I've never actually been to one. But again, those are even if you're at E3 in LA, the best way to watch those is online.
Is online.
Yeah,
100%. It really is.
Definitely.
I've definitely sat in my hotel room and watched them on the phone, which was fine.
Yeah,
still good. Still better.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, PAX was great. I saw a few KBMOD folks there. I saw Sanguis and Arbo and I think a couple other people. I'm forgetting names, but
you saw Kirby, which was pretty frightening.
Yeah, I did. I had a tweet.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
That was awesome.
Kirby, who basically was just walking around, and there was an enforcer up ahead of Kirby trying to kind of clear the way, but they were coming through kind of a thinner area This is like right after the video that I took and tweeted. He was coming around, and they were trying to get people out of the way, but obviously that costume's really big, and so when the Kirby like hit someone or like someone that it couldn't get past, it just sat there and like went up and down. that's all it did to like try and get people to move. It was
pretty cute.
Yeah, it was. I mean, cute, horrifying. Whatever. I don't know. I'm sure people have
The line
various,
is blurred.
Yeah, the line for me when it's actually when you're staring at it face to face, you have very different feelings than just the harmless thing you see online.
Okay.
It's like,
All right.
like
Katie's on your
bring your
The robot's back. It's Attack of the
Oh
Robots.
god damn it.
Okay, now you're good though. It's so weird. Try again. Test.
Hello.
You're good. You're
Hello.
good.
What's up, mate? Yeah, we're good? Okay. I was gonna try it out with the intro.
So Scott, you had a 24-hour stream.
I did. Yes, I had a 24-hour stream from Friday into Saturday this week, and it was good. It was my third one that I've done, and I've learned. The first two were truly learning process. The first time I ever did a 24-hour, it was in California, and I've told the story before, but I drank 4 energy drinks in the span of 4 hours, and by hour
that's a losing
8,
proposition every
it was
time.
terrible.
Yeah.
And by hour 8, I was like, this is going to be a struggle. And I mean, I definitely was, but the last like 4 to 6 hours of that stream, I don't even really remember. I was super loopy. But then the second time, I think I don't know if I did it here or if it was California. It might have been California as well. But I was definitely more prepared as far as like planning stuff out. And then this one was the most planned out that I had so far, in that like there was a schedule that we pretty much stuck to for the most part, with like, the blocks of time. People could know when to come in to play what. I played a bunch of different stuff, a lot of multiplayer stuff. Played Bear Simulator, which anyway, we'll talk about that. But so that was like, I don't know, if you're gonna do a stream that long, if you've never done one before, definitely plan. I mean, I know Brandon's a big planner, so I mean that would go without saying that he would do something like that. But it really, like, you got to plan it out, and then mentally it's just a lot easier because you're like, okay, I've got 3 hours of this, and then switching it up, it just keeps it fresh. But it was a really good time. Viewership was fantastic. We had like a bunch of people that stayed up and did it with me, which was really appreciated. Sheer Chaos, I don't know if he's in here, but he even set up kind of like a website that was cool that had the countdown clock, and then when you would go, it would show, you could hover over each of the hours and show what's going to be played. So it was
cool.
really, yeah, it was really cool. And it was good. And I felt the best I felt. To be fair, I've lost like 20 pounds in the last, like, I don't know, couple months since the new year, and I'm in better shape and I'm eating better and stuff. So I think that I think I felt the best I felt in a long time. So I think that contributed to me not feeling like totally dead. I kind of got my second wind. Like at no point was I like, I can't do this.
That happens to me at Extra Life. Like I feel like the hard part to get through is like 5 to 8 a.m. Yeah. Like where you're really kind of struggling. But then by the time Extra Life was over, like I'll usually still stay up so that I can just go to bed that night at a regular time.
Yeah.
And so like I end up basically accidentally staying up for like 36 or 40 hours.
Yeah. I ended up I felt like really awake by the end of that stream. I felt really awake. I did end up laying down like an hour or two later, but I didn't like sleep till the next day. I slept like maybe 4 hours and then got up at 10 and then went to bed at like a normal time a little bit later. So my schedule wasn't actually too jacked, which was really good. But yeah, definitely, it's kind of weird how that happens, where you end up staying up a lot longer than you would think. But yeah, we played. So I'll just go with what I've been playing, because I played so much shit during that 24 hours. So I'll just we'll give some of the highlights and then we can go around. But as far as like as far as games went, we did a Double Action Boogaloo, which is a game that I've talked about in the past, but it's the guys that did The Specialist, if you remember that mod for Counter-Strike back in the day. It's like their full release. It's a free game. It's basically like you can do third person, first person, Max Payne, Matrix, slow-mo. It's really fun. So we did that. Then we did CSGO 10-mans on my server, which was fun. And then Sham and I were going to do Cry of Fear co-op, which we couldn't get running. So we ended up playing, Kane and Lynch 2 co-op.
Oh, God.
Oh, let me tell you, that was quite an experience. What a incredible piece of shit. I remember kind of the shitstorm when that came out, but I didn't really understand it because I didn't play the series. Apparently the first game's like pretty okay. People liked it. But this one, man, it is fucking abysmal. It's actually pretty like incredibly bad. We played it like, and there's this thing where it's like basically the way that it's set up is there's supposed to be like a camera guy with you, and so like when you load up the game, it says buffering instead of loading, and I was like, that's kind of weird. So people in the chat were giving me the backstory. When this came out in 2010, they were trying to like set it up so that like it was like a live stream or whatever, or like you were watching all their shenanigans play out over the internet was kind of the idea. So that it's like the camera, it's like a reality TV show, but it's shaking all over the place, no matter what, like as the whole thing's happening. So Shem and I are literally getting motion sickness. And then by default, the camera shakes. Like when you hit shift, it's like, think about like when Gears of War when you run, but think about it 10 times worse. Like it's you can barely even see the screen. So God. Luckily figured out they did have an option to take it off. But that game is just, I can't even. Apparently the campaign takes about 3 hours to play through, at least the co-op one, and it was a $60 retail release. It's
holy shit.
It's truly like just horrible in almost every way. There's like almost nothing redeeming about it, but it was fun because there was, you can just get into the wonky shit. We were like throwing fire extinguishers at characters and watching them like do weird animations. I had a thing where I don't know if it was because Sham was hosting the game, but it looked like everybody was warping. Every single character would just like disappear and reappear in front of me, so it was kind of like a bad like internet connection almost kind of effect. Anyway, so we played that. Can't recommend it enough. Kane and Lynch 2. The reason I even own the Kane and Lynch series is because I think you could get all the games for like $2 every Steam sale. So I was like, yeah, I'll just buy it. So that made a lot of sense. Then we did Jackbox Party Pack games, which those are always fun with chat. We did Quiplash as well. Quiplash I had never played before, and now I totally understand why people love it. Really fun, kind of fill in the blank game. And then the audience, can all vote on the answers. So that was cool. We did Duck Game. We did Bear Simulator. I played it for like 30 minutes, and then I was all I could do. So basically you start, you build a bear. You start as a bear, and your goal is to eat all of like the items in your area. But there's like skill trees in it, and so at one point I go up to a rock, right, and it's like it's a green stain of some kind. So I try to click on it, and it goes, "You have not unlocked Sniff level 1 yet."
Like, oh my God!
It's literally kind of built like an RPG like that, but it's so fucking boring and bland. And so then once you unlock Sniff 1, you can like read the message that the animal left, and it is not good. And I understand why people were upset, but I don't know what they expected. I mean, it's fucking Bear Simulator, so I mean,
I guess like if you are simulating a bear, you want to have some kind of progression. Like as dumb as it sounds, I guess like what else do you do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I appreciated the effort put in. It just wasn't. I don't know. Like, I don't think I would have spent any time with it additionally than I spent with the 30 minutes. But it was not great. And then what else did we play? We played. I got to talk about Dark Souls, Katie. Yes.
Yeah.
Dark Souls. So this was at 5 to 7 a.m. I'm pretty tired at this point, but powering through. Had the Dark Souls fix on to be able to run it, and really enjoyed what I played. I honestly, I think you can ask people in the chat that were there. I think people didn't think I was even going to be able to get past the tutorial monster at the beginning, and I did that. Like, I don't even think I died to him once, but then I killed him on my second try, I believe. And then I did a bad thing where on your first area, what was his name again, Katie? You were telling me.
It's the Crestfallen guy.
The Crestfallen guy, yes. Once I got to the Crestfallen guy and I talked to him a little bit, chat, I'm not going to lie, chat kind of provoked me. They're like, yo, kill him. And I was like, honestly, I was like, you know what? I probably should kill him. I would probably kill him or try to kill him in my own playthrough. So obviously he's not targetable. So I'm like, all right, that's a little weird. So I attack him. And then I realized that was a massive mistake because obviously I'm like new to Dark Souls. I don't know. Like I figured that if I made a mistake, I would just reload the bonfire, Katie, and I'd be set and he'd be sitting where he was. And what happened to ensue was 30 minutes of me just getting fucking one shot or two shot by him, maybe getting one or two hits, and being stubborn and not wanting to restart my character because I was like, I mean, even though I could run through it again, I was like, no, I can definitely beat him, but there was just no way it wasn't happening. So I basically tried to kill him for 30 minutes. But the actual core of what I played, I did get to the second boss, and then we ended up having to switch games because of the schedule. But whatever the demon thing is, once you go up into the tower or whatever across the bridge. So I died to him pretty quick because I didn't really play it all that well. But even just killing, I was saying to chat, like, I totally understand. I mean, I totally understand just after playing it only for about 2 hours, the appeal of it. And it's something that I'm going to want to play more. Like I think I may be getting into Dark Souls. I really liked it. So I'll be fucking terrible, but I might stream it even more and just not look at the chat as much as possible.
Okay.
While they call me terrible. So
I will definitely have to drop in.
Yes, give me some tips though. I'll take tips from you because I trust your opinion. And then the calling had a huge patch where you can do private games now, free for all. So we did that, and the game honestly is running way better for me since the patch. Shittier for some people. They fixed a lot of stuff. Still a really fun game, and hopefully, I'm hoping that I don't know if they're going to unlock like the ability to do private server stuff, like where you could host a server. Because right now it's just like you host a game and then it just puts it on one of their servers without any configuration. But it would be kind of cool if you could set stuff like no guns or do kind of different variables. But that was fun. And then I played ranked League of Legends. I haven't played League of Legends in like a year and a half. And so the joke was that me and Timmy were going to jump in and just, after not having played for so long, like just going to jump into it. And like the game's totally changed in a year and a half. Like the lobby system is totally different. How you lock in, there's all these new characters I don't know. The rift looks different. There's like the way Dragon doesn't give gold anymore, it gives a buff. There's like new creeps. I was just like so overwhelmed. But you know what, as we get into the first game, and despite all of those changes, the League community is exactly the fucking same. We go bottom lane. I go bottom lane with Timmy. We're just doing our thing. He's Vayne. I'm Leona. He's farming away, and our top lane starts feeding, and the toxic chat starts. And you know what? It was hilarious because I was able to tap directly back into my toxic League self and jump right into the chat as the game was over and just troll super hard. And I was like, in a way, it's kind of comforting knowing that no matter what Riot does with that game, the community is it really for the most part. And I don't know what it is.
It'll never change.
It will never change. And I mean, I can appreciate them trying to do stuff, and they're really trying. Like you literally lock in the whole banning. Like it's really cool what they've done actually with League. Because I mean, coming from someone who hasn't played it in a year and a half, it's way improved. But as far as the way people interact with each other, it's still exactly the same. People get so
even
mad.
being away from it for so long, you can dig deep and find it inside of you.
I did. I was crying, laughing, and I wasn't even being mean. I was just doing shit in the first game. We were down I don't know, the Jacks had 10 kills at 8 minutes or something. It was insane. So at one point I was like, watch this, I'm really gonna troll. So we had I forget what character was the jungler for us, but they were farming red, and I had Leona, and I flash over into pit and try to steal it, and then I'm like, why are you taking it off? Anyway, I was just straight into I mean, the game was over at that point, but it was a lot of fun. So, but I will tell you, after playing ranked League, after not having played for so long, I have I'm free of the addiction. I had no feelings of man, I really am sad that I don't play League anymore. I didn't have any of it. I even in the second game I played middle and was 4-0. We were playing well, and then the team started feeding, and I had to tell them. I was like, I went into chat and I was like, I hate when I'm having a perfect game and my team lets me down like this. And, I was really going in. So
I always love.
I said sorry. I said sorry, misclick when I flashed in to steal them. Yeah, that's what I said. But so anyway, it was something. Sorry, go ahead, Katie. What were you saying?
Oh, whenever I play, it's always support that I play, and it feels like there's always the ADC that'll be super aggressive and get himself killed, and it's always, every single time, where is the help? Where are you?
Oh, yeah. Well, as support, it's literally always your fault, so...
It is. It always is, even if you're nowhere on the map. Yeah, I think I said something along the effect of when I was like, I'm tired of having these perfect games and having... Or it was having teammates who can't back me up. Oh, and then at one point as support Leona at the end of the game, I was like, I'm sick of having a perfect game because I was 0-0-0. I hadn't died. I hadn't died at all. And I was like, I'm sick of having perfect games and getting zero support from my shitty teammates when I'm playing support. And they were like, what on earth? Oh, geez. Anyway. So I think the occasional, Brandon, you love the ARAM. Occasional one of those would be fun, but.
I actually haven't played it in ARAM very recently, but yeah, we should just ARAM every now and then, get it out of us, and then go back to our normal lives.
like good games. Yeah.
Oh, next time you
and then-
guys hook up for a casual ARAM, you have to let me know. I am
Okay.
so
All
down.
right. Down for that?
All
Down.
right.
And then finally, sorry, I know this is long, but we played a lot of stuff during the 24-hour period. Some of the most fun, even though I was super tired. I got a Counter-Strike Source server to do 10-mans, and we did two. We did a 10-man on Nuke, and it was amazing. Like Source, it made me realize. I mean, again, on paper and actually in not even just in theory, Counter-Strike Go is a much better game. Obviously supported. Sure, there's a lot of problems with it, but it's a much more higher skill cap of a game. Counter-Strike Source is a very easy game, but it's so fucking fun. And so I'm going to keep the 10-man server that I got and keep it going, and I'll be doing a lot more Counter-Strike Source 10-mans. But that game, it's goofy, it's silly in a lot of ways, but it is just stupid fun. So that was like one of the fun. And then basically towards the end of the stream, I started having like all these like emotions about Counter-Strike Source and finding like old frag movies that people didn't know about and showing people and being like, God, these were the best days. I sounded like I don't know, like just an old person in an old folks home talking about like, I don't know, like Sody Pop back in the 1950s when it had cocaine in it or whatever. I was like, yeah, but
this is the Dead Hearts montage, kids.
yeah, right. Yeah. So no, it was a good time. 24-hour was great. Played a lot of stuff, and again, like I said, 48-hour happening Monday into Wednesday, guys. So be ready for that. I'm just kidding. I probably won't do it again for a while.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So I played a lot of stuff. So.
That's hard to follow.
I don't think I'm missing anything. I'm actually just looking at my 24-hour schedule. And I think that. Yeah, I know. So what did you guys play? What did you guys play this week as far as games went? Katie, let's go to you. Did you play Dark Souls? You've been playing a Dark Souls, right?
No, I've been kind of getting out of it. I was worried that I'd get into an addiction. Oh, I know I'm about to robot at some point during this. But I've kind of gotten out of it. Like, I just really burnt myself out, like when it first came out. So I'm going to take a break from it for a while. But I haven't actually played that much. I picked up the new Ratchet & Clank on the PS4.
Yes.
It's like the reboot of the first game. I heard the movie was apparently awful, but I have not seen that yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's got awful. Critics are saying it's terrible. Audience is a little more kind. I tend to side with the audience a lot of times on Rotten Tomatoes, but I have not seen it myself. So
what I've heard is like if you played the older Ratchet and Clanks,
it's really true
actually
to
like
that.
It's decent, but then otherwise, like everyone else watching it's like, what the hell is even going on? Like,
okay,
yeah, I heard it's okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to watch it. But I've been playing that. I haven't gotten too terribly far into that, but it's been pretty fun. It's got the same kind of cool upgrade system where the more you use a weapon, the more powerful it gets. There's a lot of polish in it. Like, it's really beautiful. It's on the PS4 only, but there's some really good art direction stuff going on there. But that's fun. It's and then what else? I played a game called Neo. It's only on the PS4. Right now it's only in alpha. And you can just I think it's still available, but you can download it for free on the store. It's NIOH. It's like a feudal Japan kind of action game. It's one that I heard from a lot of people that it was like another Dark Souls clone. It was another Souls-like, something like that. Like that's the buzzword now, Souls-like. There's a lot of stuff like that. And I was going in, I was gonna try and clear my mind. Maybe they'll just take inspiration. Maybe it won't be just flat out. No, it's a lot like Dark Souls, but it feels like if you there's a lot of it that borrows from like really old like PS2 action games, but it's really I've heard it's been into like development for somewhere around like a decade now.
Oh,
but
geez.
it's really
Okay.
polished. Yeah, it's got some really nice combat. You can die. Like, I was thinking that I was going to die fast, but if one enemy hits one string on you, you are stun locked into death. But it's still really fun. It's got a really cool upgrade system. The combat's really cool. It's got this thing where, like, if another person dies, you can go to like their bloodstain and summon them into your world, but you won't summon them. It's like AAI just using their equipment. It's fun, but it's fun to like grind the ghosts of other players and how they were killed. But I thought I really, really enjoyed what I played of Neo. It's got this option you can actually set. It's got a movie mode and then an action mode, where movie mode, it puts it at 1080p and then low FPS. And if you put it on action mode, it actually lowers it down to 720p, turns down some of the texture filtering, which I remember turning that on and I'm thinking, God damn it, I just wish they'd make it for PC so I could have both. But it tended to stay around 60 when it was in action mode, but I did prefer it over movie mode because like I would have actually preferred it if it just stayed at 30 FPS because it kind of dipped between 20 and 40 and it just felt really inconsistent. But other than that, it was really fun. It's NIHO Neo.
Do you think you're gonna like play through the whole like? I mean, I don't know how it like if it's can you basically just play it forever? But is there like does the campaign finish up or whatever like the main story? Or you don't
I
know
can't
yet?
really tell from the alpha because it's just one level.
Right.
But I think it's definitely one to look out for. Not to try it out. Okay. But other than that, I haven't played too much. That's it.
Okay. Cool. And I have to say one more thing. I totally forgot. I've been playing through Red Dead. I got an Xbox 360 and Red Dead Redemption going through. I played that when it first came out and just fucking it's just blowing my mind playing through it again how fucking amazing Red Dead is on every level, like pacing, gameplay, modeled horses, things to do on the side. And it just made me excited about the possible Red Dead news. I mean, like they had the map leak or whatever happened last week. So a lot of people think Rockstar is going to talk about whatever the next Red Dead will be. I don't know if it'll be called Red Dead 2, probably not. But on at E3 this year. So I don't know. Like I feel like I feel like Red Dead is probably one of the best games of all time. And now, I mean, I'm not through it again, but it's just making me just want some solid information from Rockstar about what's going to happen with the next one. And also even just maybe like a remastered. It's still fucking beautiful. It's like there's moments where I'm just stopping. I'm playing this on the Xbox 360. I mean, I did install it to the hard drive, so it does run better than off the disc. But there's moments in that where I'm just stopping and going. And people are literally like, what system are you playing this on? Has this been remastered for Xbox One? Like it looks that fucking good at times. And it's on this fucking shitty hardware. It's just so fucking incredible. I don't know. I think as far as like, I'm not through all of the story again. I mean, I won't spoil it, but we know how it ends. But I'm thinking that this might be my favorite Rockstar game / franchise of all time.
Really?
Even considering GTA. Yeah.
Really?
I love everything about the game, and like also how like lifelike the world feels. I was trying to pinpoint. I was talking to my chat about it, but there's just something about the desert and like the interactions and stuff that you have, and like just like you'll be out there and then you'll just see this lone guy like riding his horse, and then he'll like wave to you, and then he like stops his horse and gets off and goes to pee at a rock, and then I lasso him and put him on a train track. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of stuff that's happening, and it makes the world feel super alive. So anyway, I'm just like I just am amazed that it's holding up as well as it did, and having a lot of fun with that. So I'll stop going down the nostalgia train. But
oh no. Is Red Dead on PC or is it only?
No, it's only
just
PS3 or 360. Or is it on? Yeah, I think PS3, right?
Yeah, it's on PS3.
Yeah,
it's
on PS3.
Just the older, two older consoles. So,
okay.
But a remastered Red Dead would be fucking amazing as well.
Oh wow!
But I'll take a new game though, for sure. So, have you not played it, Katie? You not played it?
No, I've never played it.
Katie.
Okay,
So
I've heard. This is the thing. My brother has played it a bit, and he told me that it was like really boring. But I hear from so many people that it's like so amazing, and so I want to pick it up and definitely.
No, you should play. I think you would love it. Yeah, it's definitely not boring. It takes a little bit. The thing with Red Dead is it does take a little bit to get rolling. Like the story, it kind of like it swells to a crescendo a little bit slowly, but by the time it does, but like anyway, the characters and everything are really really solid. Like just
awesome.
stick with it for the first couple hours.
I see it on sale where I work for like $3.99, so I definitely have to pick it up.
Yes. All right. What about you, Brandon? What did you play this week?
So the main thing I've been playing is Hearthstone, which is not uncommon, but I've been playing a lot more than usual because they released the Old Gods expansion and changed to the new standard and wild formats. So I'm kind of sad that none of you play Hearthstone, so that we can't really have like a good conversation about all these changes. Sure. So basically, like the game is just entirely different because so many cards are now removed from standard, which is basically not the only thing people are going to play, but like pretty much the only thing that people are going to play. Like most all of the competitions are going to be in standard. Like, this is just kind of the way the game is going to be played now. And so there's like the new meta is kind of crazy. There's all sorts of different decks. So that's been a lot of fun. We'll see if it stays fun, because once the meta kind of gets figured out, there may be some archetypes that just smash everything. But for now, there's like so many different weird decks that people are playing that it's a lot of fun. So I've been playing a fair bit of that. I was mentioning before the cast that I played a little bit of Dark Souls 3.
Oh yeah.
More Dark Souls talk, KD.
I'm loving this. This is awesome. This is a great episode.
Yeah, so I haven't played any Dark Souls before. So I hopped into 3 to give it a try. And I was talking to Katie about this a little bit, that it's hard for me to know what in that game, because of its reputation, for being a very hardcore game, a very difficult game, it's hard for me to know what in that game is like deliberately hard to figure out because they want it to be a challenge, and what in that game is just poorly designed. And I feel like there's people that anytime you complain about something about Dark Souls, like their retort will just be, yeah, well, that's how Dark Souls is, right? Like, you're too casual to play it if you're not picking this stuff up. Right. But me, as a newcomer to Dark Souls, there were some things that I was like kind of frustrated with, because I couldn't really understand certain things that I feel like are really important. And so, like, one of the things was you pick your class at the very beginning, but there's like nine or 10 classes, and I don't know what the differences are between any of them, aside from some basic stats you can see at the very beginning. And so, like, I don't know what's going to play the best. I don't know what I'm going to enjoy. And then once you get into it, like, it's too late. If you're not good at that class, or if you don't like it, like, you're just done. You have to restart and try a different one, I guess. And apparently, so I killed the first boss, which was a little bit challenging. And then I thought I was getting stuck on the second boss. But then according to KD, that's like an optional boss or something. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no indication of like what I should be doing or things I should care about. And like, even just when I die, I drop all my souls. And do I need to go and pick all of them up again? Or like, I feel like this is going to be a good discussion for you and APL to have, because I want to see, like, when you're also like new to Dark Souls, APL, I want to hear like what you felt like when you're making a class, like, because I'm thinking about because you played Dark Souls 1 and Brandon played Dark Souls 3, and I'm thinking about how they're structured. Dark Souls 1 definitely puts you through situations that teach you like what the different mechanics are more. Mm-hmm. In Dark Souls 3, you kind of are given everything, like to bring you both, everyone up to speed. In Dark Souls 1, you start out with nothing, and you go through the area picking up all your weapons. In Dark Souls 3, you have everything, and you just go through the area, and all you have is messages on the ground. So in that way, not that I'm trying to excuse, because you have some really valid points, but Dark Souls 3 is kind of meant for if you already kind of know a little about what's going on. But,
I feel like, honestly, like from playing 1, I haven't played 3. I did feel like it was it was still like difficult in the sense of like, okay, you still had to actually, beat the boss, but reading the messages, picking up the shield, picking up your sword eventually, learning how to do that drop, whatever the thing, right? Once you actually face the boss, to do like all that damage, how to do the drop stab or whatever the fuck it's called. Like, it did give you like a decent base to be able to start out in the first one. I didn't really feel super frustrated, but I haven't played 3, so I don't know if that would be different. So
think about it this way, like, the guy that you were fighting, the NPC you attacked.
Yes, that was frustrating, but I that was frustrating in the sense that, again, I did that of my own volition. Oh shit, look at that tie-in. I did that of my own volition, but then it was just like, but I do think it's a little, I guess that's part of why Dark Souls is so brutal, because I made a decision, and then basically the game was like, you fucked up, so either you kill this guy, run away every time, or you restart your character from the beginning.
What What I was going to say is that Brandon went up a branching path that had an NPC that was hostile from the beginning that is much, much worse than fighting the NPC that you attacked.
I can totally see that being really frustrating then, because that would be
monster. Yeah, and I'm pretty positive. I would have to know more, but I think you might have missed, like, and I don't blame you because I missed it at first too. There's something you have to do that takes you to the next area, which is like the place you're supposed to go, instead of like fighting that guy, because I can see you totally bashing your head against a wall trying to kill this guy over and over and just being like, am I supposed to do this? Because there's a similar thing in Dark Souls 1. I don't know if you fought the skeletons next to the shrine instead of going up like the side of the hill. Because a lot of people I know, they fight the skeletons for hours before realizing that's not the way they're supposed to go.
I didn't end up fighting skeletons. No, I pretty much went right up the hill after the first area. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going a bit far out, but
it's hard for me to know what in the game is difficult and is well designed, and what in the game is like not clear, and that means it's poorly designed, because it didn't grab me. Like, as someone who is brand new to Dark Souls, but who knows, like, you know, who has been on this cast, and like, I know people love the game. I know people who have really enjoyed it and really love it. And like, I want to understand why people love that game. But so like, I get into Dark Souls 3, and I just didn't feel it didn't draw me in, because like, I was bashing my head against a wall basically from the very beginning. And now it sounds like maybe that was like an optional boss. And so like, what takes away from, does it take away from the game if I die to that guy like 5 times for the game to be like, hey, you know, did you know this guy's optional? Or like, give you some hint that like, you don't have to do this, right? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, I feel like there just aren't enough cues for either you could do this a different way, or like the thing when like you die and you drop all your souls. That's not even explained. It's not even explained like, hey, you should pick these up. Like, if you die, make sure you pick these up. These are important. Like, little cues like that, I feel like, don't affect the difficulty or like the brutality of the game, but they make it easier to get into and easier to, you know, to fall in love with. And if you do end up banging your head against a wall, it's like during the boss fights and things that are meant to be difficult. They're meant to be challenging. And so, I don't know. For me, that's where like, I haven't figured that out yet. But I want to understand why people love these games, and I feel like I'm not seeing it yet.
Okay, that's fair. I banged my head. I guess the reason it was easier for me for the first one was like, I felt like that. So like you said, Katie, I didn't run into that skeleton issue. Like I ended up having a pretty easy or decent start, other than killing the NPC. But I was like, oh well, that's my own fault. I did that. So if I had started with Dark Souls 3, Brandon, and then did the same thing you did, I probably would feel the same way, especially being new to the series. So
yeah, but I see you.
Yeah. And like, even some of the people in chat, this is why it's so tough for me to figure out, because like, there is a narrative that Dark Souls is literally like, it is intentionally built this way to be obtuse, and it's like, I don't know that that's valid. Like, I feel like Dark Souls is like the one franchise where they can get away with anything, because the people that love Dark Souls will just say like, that's how it's supposed to be that way, right? If you can't figure it out, then like, you're too casual for Dark Souls.
Kind of like a true.
Exactly.
It's kind of like this just like self-fulfilling prophecy that you could put anything in, and you know that the diehard community is going to be like, but that's what makes it great. And you're like, well, I'm I mean,
so that's why I'm
really argue out of that.
Like, it's hard for me to figure out that line of like, what is actually not, like, what do I, Brandon, think is not well designed with this game, versus like, what is actually kind of smart and interesting that not telling the player about this makes it makes it more of a challenge.
Yeah, there's definitely a line between like that kind of thing Dark Souls is trying to do and just being flat out like unaccessible, like So
but I feel like I think the way that I'll continue this is like, maybe KD, like maybe I play with KD kind of helping me, so that, because I wanna play more of it, but I don't think I'm gonna play more of it by myself. Like, I don't want to bang my head against a wall. Because I haven't read enough stuff in the Dark Souls wiki. Like, that's not the way that I play games.
Exactly. But yeah, you have my contact information. Any questions?
Well, we'll
Just,
get in an ARAM. We'll hop into some Dark Souls. We got some
Oh,
good
yeah.
times ahead.
What are you doing tonight? After the
There you
cast.
go.
But anyway, the only other thing I played the new Rocket League Hoops mode.
Yes.
Which is
Oh,
pretty-
how is that?
It's really neat. Like I think it's well done. It was a lot harder.
It looks hard as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. from what I've seen.
Like I did not win a single round. Granted, I was queuing up with a random opponents and a random teammate. So like that's already can be questionable. But I was not good. Like I was absolutely bringing my teammate down because the game is basically it's like all played in the air pretty much. And so I enjoyed it. Like I could tell it's a very different game mode, and I think it's pretty well done. But man, it is difficult, and like there's a lot more potential to lose right off of the jump ball, like right when because it throws it up in the air like a real jump ball in basketball, and so if you miss and your opponent hits it right, they can literally just pop it in right off the start. So I feel like it's a lot less forgiving than the regular Rocket League mode is.
Now, would you say, like, have you played enough to say whether it's competitive or not?
I think that if you're already good at Rocket League, you will already be good at this mode. Like basically, I don't think
Like aerials and everything.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that competitive because I mean it could be. Like, don't get me wrong, it could be competitive. But I don't think it will be because I think the people that are already good at regular Rocket League will basically be good at hoops too. But it is a very different play style. Like if you are not good at aerial ball control or like good at aerial passes and things like that, that's basically the whole game. So I don't think it's something that a beginner or even like a mid-tier player will really be any good at.
Okay.
I feel like watching that, I was like, because I'm terrible at aerials or just movement in general. I was like, I bet I could just go into that mode and all I would focus on, not even trying to score, it would be being able to stay in the air long enough to hit the ball once. And if I did that for hours, I would then have better movement and aerials in the game. Like,
there were a few times where
yeah.
I felt like I got lucky. I basically like only scored because I happened to get lucky. Like I didn't really feel like I scored ever because of my own skill. Whereas in regular Rocket League, there are quite a few times where I felt really satisfied with my goal. But man, getting it in the hoop is just like, unless you're good at aerials, it's not skill. It's just like you happen to hit it off the backboard and it went in. Cool.
Gotcha. Yeah, that does look like fun, albeit like you said, very hard. Okay, cool. Was there anything else, Brandon? Or you?
No, that's it.
All right, sweet. Bradley, what about you? Nothing. I mean, you said nothing because Rust has been uninstalled, but I don't.
Yeah,
know if
I
you
just
truly mean
remembered
that.
I did get the new Ratchet and Clank, and that looks really good. PS4, but I didn't. I played maybe half an hour and then went and did something else. But
Okay.
it's just
Yeah,
it's a problem with me, not the game. It's just I just hardly can sit down and play something right at times. So
You got too many cover letters. You got to finish up. To be honest.
yeah, exactly. So
Could be on that cover letter.
but that's about it.
Cool.
I only
All right.
played a
Well,
bit
that was
before I had to go to the annotated bibliography I was working on.
yeah. God damn it. All right.
That
Well,
was
there
a
we go.
healthy what we've been playing.
Very
section.
healthy. Yeah, good
Yeah.
lord. A lot of discussion.
There's a
We had
lot.
Dark Souls discussion in there. We talked Red Dead. I
Yeah, we
basically
hit everything: Rocket League, Dark Souls, console games.
yeah, hitting them up. All
the
right.
bases.
Well, we've got some announcements here, right? That Brad.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna run through these, real quick. I think I'm gonna start doing these more often, just so everybody can know what exactly is going on outside of the podcast. Here's some news. So basically, KBMOD shirts should be going out. If you were a live, viewer, you could see that Scott got his,
Yeah.
and
Mine's on
looks
its way.
pretty good.
Am I safe to turn my cam on? Think it'll mess up the
Always.
overlay?
If you,
I mean,
yeah,
you
go.
try.
Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah. Well,
There
no
it
one,
is.
Beautiful.
No one's
You're
safe
missing
now.
out on a site if you're listening to this via audio.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So if you get it in the mail, just take a picture, tweet it at us, and we'll reshare it with everybody. It is something worth sharing. I think There's no shirt out there like this. It is just
Yes.
beautiful. I know. I don't even have it yet, and I've already got compliments on it.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I know. It's quite the shirt.
Just maybe don't let your children see it.
Yeah, especially when it the way it sets when you sit like in crinkles, and the KBMOD A becomes very almost demonic or otherworldly looking. You can tell KD right now. It's actually terrifying as he zooms in.
Yeah, it's something. Tuesdays, we have a after school special show that a community member is running. Basically, he hooks up old school consoles and puts them into his PC, and he streams them on our channel, so you guys can check that out every Tuesday. His name's Lazum. Battlefield nights are still going strong every Saturday night. I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern time, but I could be mistaken. Just jump in our Discord and get Battlefield loaded up, and we usually actually fill up servers. From time to time, we'll jump on an empty one and fill that up. Like, it could be a 64-person server. Like, not all of us. That won't be all of us, but we'll at least have, I would say 2 to 3 squads at most. And it's so much fun. So check that out. Next community night, I think, is scheduled to be May 13th. You should check that out. Tim likes to change it up. Stafu Noob. This last one, he did the calling, and we actually were able to give out game codes. And Dave Austry showed up too and played with us. So that was pretty cool to see. Again, that was May 13th, I think, is the next one. We got a bunch of content on the site coming out or already up. AJ did his first impressions of the Mirror's Edge beta, which I haven't even seen. I don't know about you guys, but I heard it's okay. Check out his first impressions on there and see what he thinks of it. And people can contribute as well. I just want to put this out there. If you are an Android listener,
Yes, this is
Google Play is going to be doing podcasts. In the next few weeks, or I don't know if it's the next few weeks, but we are pre-approved for it. If you're on the web, you can actually subscribe to it already. But yeah, I have to have the specific address, but you can just check out our Twitter or maybe our podcast listings. We're going to start putting it on there as well.
If you just search KBMOD on Google Play, I think it shows up.
Yeah, hopefully, but it might not until it's rolled out on mobile at least. But just be aware that's out there, and that will be rolling out at some point. And the last one, the Pittsburgh crew wanted me to kind of ping everybody about this. They're considering doing a LAN party, like an open LAN party, and whether or not to involve Extra Life and make it about Extra Life is still up in the air. But we want to hear what you guys think about that and whether you'd be able to come to Pittsburgh, things like that. Right now, as of recording, we have a poll up, and majority of people said they couldn't because it's too far away. But if you could, just tweet at us, your ideas, like what would make it fun, whether you want it to be just something to game with other people, or maybe you'd like it to be, to raise money for Extra Life. Just let us know via social media. That's something we're considering. And yeah, that's kind of all we have for announcements. So
there you go. A lot of stuff.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on. Like you said, check out that site content, and vote in that poll. I'm actually opening my home if we have a KBMOD open LAN. I'm actually inviting every single person to. I'm just fucking kidding. Don't you come near my house. But
Damn it.
Katie's end was all excited for a second.
I was ready. I was about to call off.
No, but that would be really fun if we could. I'm hoping. Anyway, we'll have to see the results, but it would be really cool to be able to do that. This is something we talked about, to be fair, for like years, but now we've got Bradley on the team, so things actually he's pushing. He's like, well, maybe we should do a poll. It's like, all right, let's do it. So hopefully if enough people respond positively, we can do it. All right, we're gonna jump into some news here, and we're gonna start off with I feel like we say the word Kickstarter. We've said the word Kickstarter on this podcast probably over 2 million times at this point. That's probably just a pretty conservative estimate. But we're going to talk more Kickstarter, and this time it's John Romero and Adrian Carmack. They announced that they had a game, and they had a pretty high. I forget what it was. I know that
like
they didn't reach their goal.
700,000. Well, they announced this game first. I think because we didn't have a cast last week, so I think the week before last they put out a teaser that John Romero and Adrian Carmack, who are formerly of id,
right, and Blackroom is what it was called.
Yeah, so they have they announced that they were going to be doing a first-person shooter, and then shortly thereafter they launched a Kickstarter campaign. But there were not like a ton of details, and there was no gameplay demo. And so they got how much? It's
like 100 and something, like 100 over 100K, 131, but not near $700,000 target.
Yeah. So they launched and they got like 131K before they canceled. And I don't know if you can just like restart it or what. I don't know how Kickstarter works.
Yeah, you should be able to just start a new campaign. But
they don't get any of that money, right? Or does it stay?
No.
Right, it's gone, right?
So the way they have it set up, so Indiegogo, you can do like part of the campaign. If you don't meet your goal, you can still get that money, but Indiegogo takes a higher like percentage. But Kickstarter, it's like you meet that goal or it doesn't go through. Right. But what happened was they were just like looking at how much money they were getting, and a lot of the questions that were coming up was like, this is all great and everything, and this sounds awesome, but I want to actually see gameplay. Like, all they had was just interviews and like some concept art, but that tells you nothing about the game you're actually kickstarting. So they canceled, and they're gonna put the time and effort into making a demo. Which I wasn't expecting. You know, I was maybe like, oh, maybe we'll actually just throw some content out there. Like, no, a gameplay demo. Like, that's kind of interesting.
I mean, I hope.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I wouldn't back it, given what they showed. But I think it's clearly, if they deliver on it, it's a game that I would want to play, because they're talking about like bringing back strafe jumping and circle strafing and stuff, like bringing back the movement that stuff like Doom and Quake was known for. Like, I'm all about that. But without any gameplay, and with just kind of like the concept art, and like clearly it felt to me clear that they were banking on Romero and Carmack's reputation in the space for like, basically that's the only reason you should trust us. Because like they even say Blackroom is the FPS we can make, and it's like, the only reason we think we know you could make that is because you guys were involved in Doom and like its early days.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it is true. I saw a couple tweets in regards to this. I forget who said this or the way they said it, but I mean, it is true. Without like, I mean, thinking about Rust and stuff like that, people talking about like John Carmack, games without Romero with him kind of felt soulless and stuff like that, and they felt, like he definitely brings a lot to that, and so I think it definitely could have potential.
Romero and Adrian Carmack both, they both were instrumental in those early games, and like
they were.
Adrian Carmack was their like founding artist, and Romero was like the storyteller. So I mean, I think these guys could make a good game, but it's like kind of the same problem that I feel like Doom, the new Doom, has had, where it's like, what is an FPS like that in today's
the
market?
Current time. Yeah.
And like there's clearly a reason that there aren't really many games out there that are doing the things that they want to do with this game. And I, as an old school FPS player, am 100% for it. But I don't know that you're going to get $700,000 worth of people that are going to be for it. And I think that was actually just like sort of the seed money. Like, I think they have other investment if they hit their Kickstarter goal or something like that. So I don't think they're going to just spend $700K on making this game, because that actually doesn't seem like that much in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But I agree with you, Brad, in the sense of it's nice to see. Anyway, them being like, okay, well, these are all the questions we're getting. Like, let's actually make a demo, right? And show people, because I do. I mean, if it's decent or if it's good, I think they probably have no problem at all raising 700 or whatever they need to. So
I mean, the gameplay demo will prove it out, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's I might back at a small amount. I mean, also their delivery date, estimated delivery date was December 2018, which
Oh,
I
wow.
guess props for probably clearly giving yourself enough runway to
lot of
meet that
time.
date, but also that it's like why would I want to back a Kickstarter that's estimated delivery is 2.5 years from now?
Yeah, it's a long time. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that, see how it goes, see once that demo comes down the line, maybe give it a try, and then yeah. But it's good. It's a nice response, other than just I don't know. Like I mean, I guess the alternatives are they just like, well, we'll start another campaign, or we'll do a different way of trying to get this done. So yeah, I guess the proof will be in that gameplay pudding. Hopefully, it's tasty and delicious. All right, so we got to talk about Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare being remastered, but also the way that it was confirmed. So a lot of you probably
this is
saw
like the
this.
weirdest thing.
Very odd, very odd. So someone by the name of Angus Angus Vanderslot or Sloot, I'm not sure. I'm assuming it's Vanderslot. Just some innocuous guy on Twitter tweeted this tweet. This was on December 5th. He said, "If I ever hear the words Call of
This
Duty,
is December 5th, 2014. This is
2014,
yeah, this is like a year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago, yes. I didn't even realize that initially. I just saw December 5th. I was like, wow, this was a year and a half. What the? Okay, if I ever hear the words Call of Duty 4 PS4 remaster, I will literally shit my pants with excitement. So then the official Call of Duty account responds to Angus with a poop emoji and a pants emoji, basically confirming that it's time for him to shit his pants because it is in the works, which was very bizarre, Brandon. I agree, but also kind of genius in a way.
I guarantee you, like, their Call of Duty social media manager is like demanding a raise next cycle.
Oh, exactly. That's pretty fucking clever to as a way of announcing something. And then there were details further along here about that it is indeed going to be coming out. They're going to be remastering, and people have been calling for that and hoping for that for a really long time. I think Call of Duty 4 is basically probably maybe the most beloved Call of Duty, and a lot of people love Modern Warfare 2 as well. I mean, Black Ops has its fans, but COD 4 kind of started it all.
Call of Duty 4 is kind of the Call of Duty 4 was the beginning of modern Call of Duty, and so I think most people regard that as the best one. I know I do. I mean that
I do too. Yeah,
changed the game. It's hard to remember back then, but that honestly was a very innovative game.
It absolutely was. That was
for sure.
Introduced the perk system and all the kind of shit that we take for granted now after 672 million Call of Duty releases. Like, it started with that. So, as far as details go, it's going to be include the original game's campaign, 10 multiplayer maps, which is half of the original, which was 20. Which I'm assuming the other 10 will be DLC. Who knows? I hope not. Or maybe they're just waiting. But 10 multiplayer maps. And this was kind of confirmed. This is basically an ad on a Canadian retail site calls the game Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And it's slated for release November 4th, 2016. Standard, basically, it's going to be a $60 game. And there's a Legacy Edition, which includes Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, is like a $88 in the US, $109 in Canada. So, I mean, I don't know, like, I mean, there's still a lot of people that, I don't know, I say a lot, but there's a lot of people that still play COD 4 on PC. I don't know what it's like, what the console is like. I think still a lot of people play on console as well. But how do you think this is going to? I'm interested in what you guys think. I mean, there's a lot of hype around it. People are really excited. I think it's a pretty good idea, and I think it's something that I would probably. Is it only coming out for console, or is it coming out? I didn't even. Let me see here.
It would have to come out for PC, right?
I would think it would be.
I'm thinking as far as like, is it either going to be a remaster or is it going to be like from the ground up? Maybe something like that, because Call of Duty 4 still looks really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Well, I don't know about really good. It's okay. I mean,
yeah.
It could do with the remaster.
Yeah, you're right.
But it does. No, you're right. It does hold up well. But I'm just curious. I don't see anything that says. I would assume it's coming out for PC, but I don't see anything that confirms that in this article.
I don't think anything's really confirmed yet. Like, it's still just kind of leaks and stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see more official information soon. I think like, I don't have a problem with this. I don't know that it's something I'll buy, but
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
I
thinking
feel
too.
like there's maybe a way they could make it compelling for me to want to buy. But like you said, I mean, COD 4 still exists. So like
Yeah, that's what I mean.
if you really want to play
Do it.
COD 4, you can, and people still do. So the remaster like seems like a money grab, but maybe it's a good money grab. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know, like $60 full release.
There's like two different ways you can look at this. The one side you can be like, yeah, it's about time that they honor Call of Duty 4, with a proper remaster and give it some love. The pessimist side would be like they have run out of ideas, and so
Totally.
you know what you've always got in your back pocket? People love COD 4, and you can probably sell it to them again.
Again for
Yeah.
Totally. And that's, I mean, it kind of does feel like that, but also I will say, I guess in the public perception, people have been wanting kind of a remaster. I mean, I just know like a lot of the people that I follow that are huge COD fans have been wanting for something like this for a long time. So it is an easy sell to them for diehard fans.
I mean,
but for someone like me, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
If they build in like, they talked up their mod tools for the current Call of Duty. If that works into this, where like Call of Duty 4 remaster will have mod support, and like Activision will sort of officially support people building mods and stuff for it. That could be interesting, right? Because like that's one of the things that made COD 4 great is you had stuff like Pro Mod, you had some crazy mods out there.
But don't forget, official Black Ops 3 mod support coming. Don't forget, still relevant.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Very relevant. Yes. The mod scene just waiting with bated breath for that to drop. Cannot wait. I mean,
I still would like a multiplayer subscription. Like at this point, like
to not pay $60. Yeah,
I'm not paying $60 to play the single player anymore because it's all like kind of the same in some way or another.
That's true.
Just playing COD to play the multiplayer. So it's like at this point, just give the PC crowd a subscription model and give us all the old maps we loved, and I think people would be ecstatic for that.
Yeah, and that's what and I totally agree with the single player. Like I played the single player, I enjoyed it when it came out. I don't give a shit about playing a remastered single player. It would only be for the multiplayer. So yeah, then when you look at 60, it's like no, I'm not in for that personally. So
yeah,
chat getting pretty upset. I mean, you can still buy the original on Steam for half the price of the remaster. It's fucking ludicrous. Magical Arts. I mean, and that's more taking the second part where you're like, we can resell this game for $60 to people again, and they'll eat it up.
I think they could.
I don't know if it's
like they could do some bold. They could do some bold things with the Call of Duty 4 remaster. Like they did that test where you could buy Call of Duty for like 15, the starter pack or whatever, for like $15. Like they could do some interesting stuff with Call of Duty that I think would make this appealing. And maybe we'll see that this is like some shift in the way that they manage the Call of Duty franchise, because like they've never really done a remaster. It's always been a new game, or like build as a new game, right? Obviously they recycle a ton of stuff, but there's never been a proper remaster of any Call of Duty. So it makes me wonder if like at this, I'm just talking crazy stuff here, but like at E3 or something, they could really turn the Call of Duty franchise on its head, and they could either introduce a subscription model or make it free to play, or I don't know, like they've never done a remaster before, so like who knows, maybe they are actually thinking about doing something bold with Call of Duty, which if depending on how bold it was, like that might bring me back. But I don't know that just another forgettable like yearly installment that happens to be a COD 4 remaster, I don't know that does anything for me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and we've talked about this a million times. Like, will they go to the Counter-Strike model or a free-to-play model? Where, in the sights of the Counter-Strike model, where the core game stays the same. As well, CS:GO, you got cases. They update the game constantly throughout the years. To me, part of me goes, they'll never do that because sure, like they could make a lot of money in the long run, but then you just think about they still sell so many copies at $60. Yeah. You look at that like, well, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. And in the long run, maybe would it be more successful or better than doing a yearly release? I don't know, but that's still like billions in revenue lost off of not selling that $60 every single year. So it's hard for me with Activision to believe that they would do that, but I don't know.
It's a hard spot to be in because I feel like they, you can't do it both ways. And so the question is like, do you think that Call of Duty will continue to keep up those sales numbers? And we've seen them flag, in some of the recent games. And if you don't, if you don't think that you can keep up, those massive sales numbers at $60, then you have to think about the future of your business and like what is Call of Duty in 10 years. Whereas like CS:GO is, I think CS:GO has a very high probability of still being around in 10 years because of the way they're managing that ecosystem. Call of Duty, I think it's a question mark. Like it could go the way of Guitar Hero pretty easily.
Totally agree with that.
And all right. Just the final thing on Call of Duty, not sure. I mean, it's not on the top of my list to watch, but something going on right now. The Call of Duty Twitch is currently, it's like looping a message. It's like looping a video that's like a teaser.
Oh yeah, they're actually announcing something tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. And
so
there's like a looping.
You hear this, maybe all will have been revealed.
Yeah, we'll see them by the time the podcast comes out, audio listeners.
I think, what I think they're going to do? I think they're going to VR COD only. They're going to make it the killer app for the Vive. And you can only play it with a Vive or an Oculus. That's it.
Actually, that higher refresh rate, though.
Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of bold moves, I mean,
that would be bold. That would be very bold. Very bold. And speaking of bold statements, let's talk. We've got two Blizzard stories here before we round out the news, but we're going to talk about basically this was last week. This was last week, but still relevant. Blizzard designer Jeff Kaplan, he opened up to GameSpot a little bit about working on Titan, obviously the canceled MMO that was basically going to be the successor to World of Warcraft that never ended up coming to. I mean, what did they work on that for 4+ years, I think?
Oh, and then it was a long
time. Never released. And so he's just speaking really brutally honestly about kind of that failure and how tough it was for all the people that were working on it. But this is his quote. He said, "Yeah, we had a really amazing group of people working on Titan. They were really talented individuals, but we failed horrifically in every way. In every way that a project can fail, it was devastating." So, basically talking about them trying to, especially they're used to games just succeeding at Blizzard. They don't really, if you look at Blizzard, they don't have a track record of failure. They have a lot of very successful franchises. And he was saying even internally, it wasn't necessarily pressure within the company, but everyone at the company after the Titan failure felt like we got to prove ourselves that we can make something really good and different, and not necessarily different, but something that people will want to play. And that's basically kind of how Overwatch came out of it. A lot of people that worked on Titan basically worked on Overwatch. And so I thought that was just kind of cool to see, somebody speaking honestly about a pretty big failure. And, they came out on the other side. I mean, Overwatch is, I haven't played it because I'm not in on it. Soon I will be able to play it. But all I've heard is that people really love Overwatch. And it's, by all accounts, it seems like it's going to be kind of the next big game in that space. So
yeah, Blizzard does not have, they have probably the best track record of making consistently really solid products. And I don't even know how it does in revenue, but the worst thing they've done, at least this is more of an opinion, the worst thing they've done in recent memory is Heroes of the Storm, which is a good game, but it hasn't necessarily set the world on fire. But every other thing they've done, Diablo killed it, StarCraft, killed it.
Diablo 3 had quite the rocky launch, though.
It did have a rocky launch.
Right, it had a rocky launch. I'm saying, just in terms of, what the game is now and the way it's sold, that game did well on PlayStation. It's done huge numbers for what that game is. And then you have Hearthstone, now into Overwatch. They have so many just hit after hit, that I imagine the pressure of creating a new IP at Blizzard has to be tremendous. So I mean, props to them for, turning a failed project into what appears to be, even before it's launched, like an unbelievable success. The way that Hearthstone is, like, I don't know how they managed to just do really great games time after time. They have not had a failure, like, really ever, like in in the past decade.
No, yeah, absolutely. And one of my favorite, I have to read this comment. One of my favorite comments on the GameSpot article, in response to this, was basically, this guy goes, Blizzard, we failed horrifically in regards to Overwatch. And then Electronic Arts and Ubisoft. Okay, but you didn't say why you canceled it. Which I thought was very, very accurate, considering
That's pretty good.
No kind of failed horrific product, God, like, I don't think they've ever canceled one. It seems like we always get them. So, props to Blizzard again. And like you said, I can't even imagine the internal pressure, even though he's saying, like, yeah, people were nice, but you don't, like, after you put all those resources and all that money and the game doesn't even come out, there's probably a little bit of pressure on your next project. Like, we better put out something that people like. So, it's pretty cool to see.
Given how long they were working on Titan, even if and when Overwatch becomes a great success, it'll take them a little while to make their money back on that, right? Like, they had a lot of people working on Titan for a long time, so there's a lot of money they've already sunk into what is now Overwatch, that they kind of need it to be that level of success, because of how long it took to get there.
Yeah, exactly. So is that when is the open beta? Is it tomorrow? Wait, is it the 5th?
It's this weekend. It's this upcoming weekend.
This upcoming weekend? Okay, so 6th, maybe 7th. All right, cool. Well, I will definitely be playing that, finally.
I think they come online May 3rd, and that's Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
By the time you listen to this audio version, if you have a key, you can get in.
And then, all right, Brandon, I don't know if you want to talk about this a little bit, but this finally official response from Blizzard in regards to shutting down the Vanilla WoW rogue, not necessarily rogue, but
the private
servers
server.
not sanctioned by them.
Yeah, I think I just figured we'd talk about this a little bit because we talked about how Blizzard shut down Nostalrius, the largest private vanilla WoW server, and I did not expect the amount of, like, backlash and support that this got. They had a petition that has hit 250,000 signatures, which for World of Warcraft related anything, getting 250,000 people to sign a petition, that's like that. I mean, those are numbers you don't see for something that's not, like, nationally or internationally interesting to people. The fact that they got that many signatures for a private server of an MMO is pretty amazing. But Blizzard has responded because how could they not? Basically saying, like, they're kind of keeping an eye on the entire situation. It sounds like they're meeting with, or maybe met with, the team behind Nostalrius this weekend. So they agreed to have a meeting with those people on their campus. So who knows what this will turn into? Like, I feel like there's the amount of public pressure and support for this server. I was shocked by the number of people that care about this in that way, and maybe it meaningfully turns into something officially supported on Blizzard's side, given the amount of support that Nostalrius has seen.
Well, the paying subscription for WoW has been on a crazy downward spiral. It's been interesting to see not only them shut down the server, but then now meeting with the people because they want people to come back, start paying for those subscriptions again. Because I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's just like every month it seems like they were in the millions, and now they're getting to just a few or something for subscribing people. Yeah. I don't know the exact number, but Blizzard's not dumb, and they see that oh wow, people do still obviously care about this game, and we want people to because we like money. So,
I mean, and basically the argument from the Blizzard employee, what they said was They explored options. Basically said why couldn't we just let the server continue the way that it was? They're saying the honest answer is failure to protect against intellectual property infringement and would damage our rights. Basically, they said they tried to work it out as any way they could, but they're saying that there's not a clear legal path to protect their IPs if they let stuff like this keep operating, which I understand.
It does make sense from their point of view, but I think that this situation highlights that there is a lot of desire to have that experience in some officially supported way, and so like for Blizzard to shut down that server without some kind of official replacement for that experience, I think that's what has everyone's jimmies rustled. And there have been big content creators, Twitch partners and YouTubers coming out in support of Nostalrius, which is probably forcing Blizzard's hand even more. That there's even the people that understand why they did it are not happy with it. They're it wasn't really hurting anyone, and now you've just you've taken something away that you have no official replacement for. So it's sort of like your move, Blizzard. What are you going to do now?
Exactly. So we don't have. They were again meeting this weekend. I've checked the Twitter account. There hasn't been any official, at least as of right now. Again, maybe by the time the podcast is out and you're listening to this, they'll have released kind of what they talked about with Blizzard. But if Blizzard's meeting with them, to me, I don't know. There could be a couple factors. Are they looking at okay, you guys did this? Are they looking at hiring these people? Are they just going to go with ideas and be okay, how could we work with you guys and then do something official? They're probably talking about all that kind of stuff. But I guess if the conversation's starting, like you said, Blizzard's not dumb. They realize the subscriptions that there is a market for people saying we want to kind of play the old classic WoW. So I don't know.
Meeting agreeing to a meeting on their campus is way that's way more than I would have expected Blizzard to do. Yes. Same. They've actually been more receptive and more responsive in terms of their public response to this stuff than I would have expected. Because stuff like this, happens probably all the time. I'm sure Blizzard's legal team is sending cease and desist for all sorts of things all the time. Yeah. But they never bubble up into this kind of public sentiment. So it's kind of interesting to see what the turnout of this will be, because if it does end up in official legacy servers or anything, I think the community can basically pat themselves on the back. This change.org petition is actually probably may end up being one of the most meaningful change.org petitions in the history of change.org petitions, which are generally not useful.
Exactly. Which are basically memes in my channel when people are hey, get APL to play Peggle. We've got 100 signatures, and then I just...
You actually had one, if I remember right. It was to change your blinds.
Oh, it was to change my blinds. That's right. In California, people wanted different blinds behind me. That's right. That was... It ended up being successful, Brad, because I actually moved to Pittsburgh, and my setup
it drove you to move.
It drove me to move. People think it's because of a lot of other reasons, but it was because of the blinds. 100%. Change.org. Don't ever let anyone tell you it doesn't work. So, all right. So that was our core news here. We're going to jump into some quick hits quickly, and then jump into new releases. But Bitcoin, your favorite online currency, is going payments. They're coming to Steam. You can use Bitcoin. Yeah, that's right. I use my Bitcoin credit card for everything too. So they're gonna use local currency prices and convert during checkout. So a lot of people were pretty excited about this. I personally don't have any Bitcoin currency, but I guess for people that do, Brandon, did you actually have any Bitcoin? Curious.
No, I've never dabbled in Bitcoin at all.
Okay.
But I think it's cool that they're supporting it as a payment method. It's basically, from their side, they're just turning it into cash. So
exactly, yeah. It makes sense. I haven't really followed though. I remember the drop. I don't know. Is Bitcoin still I remember all the did the Bitcoin market crash? Is it dead? The currency's still going.
Crashed a couple times.
Who knows?
It has. Right?
Who knows? That's the thing. I can't keep up with the Bitcoin related drama, and I don't even really understand it. Who is?
Yeah.
They're just turning it into money immediately, but where are all the people buying Bitcoin that they can just turn this into money?
Yeah,
because I feel like at this point everyone knows that who is buying Bitcoin as an investment anymore.
I don't know. And I feel like whenever time I hear about Bitcoin, it's like hackers and more shady. You know what I mean? Like the more shady parts of the internet.
Yeah, I hear about Bitcoin getting stolen all the time.
Yeah, but not like legitimately used. But I don't know. We'll have to. You know what we need to have? We need to have fucking. We got to get Cheddar Chooser on for a segment
we need
on Bitcoin, because he honestly is like, he was all into Bitcoin, and he's a financial guy. I bet he could explain Bitcoin to us, and like maybe I bet Cheddar uses Cheddar Chess uses Bitcoin. So yeah, we're gonna do that. We'll book him
because he's off the grid, doesn't want to be tracked.
He doesn't, exactly. That's why he disappeared. Yeah. Craig raises a good point too. This may raise some issues with chargebacks and fraud due to the anonymity of Bitcoin in general. That's a good point. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah. They'll probably have to have
a policy or something.
Some policies in place that may differ from other payment methods.
Yeah, I think so. All right, you want to take this one, Brad? I didn't really.
Nintendo announced that their new console will be coming out next year, which I think was already pushed back from when they originally announced it. But what's really surprising is their new Legend of Zelda game, which was supposed to come out this year, is going to be pushed out next year, and will be, I'm assuming, a launch title with the new console, which is really frustrating for us Legend of Zelda fans.
Yes, definitely.
But not only this is really surprising. So it'll be a launch title, but they will have a Wii U version. What's really interesting in this, I know. So nobody's really going to get it for the Wii U. They're going to get it for the new console, of course. What's really interesting is E3 this year, Nintendo will only have one title and one title only. That'll be Legend of Zelda on the Wii U. Wow. That's literally it. On their show floor, that's all they're going to have.
That's so weird.
Yeah, that's all they're going to be talking about? Like, do you know if
that is literally the only playable game. They're not showing anything on the new console. They said it's coming out next year, like 3 a.m. Pacific time on Twitter or something like that. So first of all, that's really weird. Not an official press release or anything, but on Twitter. And like, we have a new console coming out. We're not showing it at E3. And you know what? We might have some new games, but the only playable one is going to be Legend of Zelda.
It is very odd. Yeah, that is.
I think they announced it. They announced it with an earnings release. Like, they didn't even. It's not even a press release. Like, it was just tucked into their earnings.
They're trying to tuck it under the fucking sheets.
It's so weird. But it's. I saw on Twitter, like, people replying to Nintendo with their Wii U and like a picture of their Wii U in the dumpster or something like that, and like shit like that. But it's as like a Nintendo fan, like, that is super frustrating. Like, every single console has had a Legend of Zelda. And to see that it's now going to be a launch title for the next one, and we might as well just not get the Wii U. Like, I was only interested in Mario Kart, so I kind of feel like I wasted my money here. Like, I was expecting all these titles, and really Nintendo didn't come up to the previous bar that they've set for themselves. So
the Wii U will have been like it only came out in November 2012. It's they're already replacing it. That is just crazy to me.
It's been nothing but remakes, and it's super frustrating. They also announced on Twitter that they're coming out with a new Animal Crossing and a Fire Emblem, but guess what? It'll be on mobile. It's like, are you fucking serious, Nintendo? Like, great! I can't wait for the games that I wanted on console with microtransactions for my phone. Yeah, like, it's going to be great.
Yeah, I'll play the Fire Emblem, but
will you though? Like, on your phone? Like, who knows what they're going to riddle? They have to make money with it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the ads come up after every turn. Wouldn't be too good.
I can't wait for them to reveal the new console, and that's going to actually use the N64 cartridges, but they've made them bigger and badder. It's going to be really exciting. Yeah. But you're going to have to get the expansion. You're going to have to get the memory expansions for the controllers to even play like half the games.
Just
remember, like Perfect Dark on the 64, you had to have like a memory pack. It was required because God, dude, Nintendo they need to stop. I've been saying this for a while, but Nintendo needs to stop making consoles. And they need to just make, and I know that sounds
the games
insane.
People want.
They need to just make the games people want and put them out on the hardware that already exists. I get it. Like, they want to control every aspect of it, and they probably will never do that. And like the Nintendo controller and all that shit. But honestly, like, I feel like we'll have to see. Maybe this console will sell like crazy, but man, like
I feel like
talking
this
about
is
console failures,
this is
it's
like their
bad.
time to really put up or shut up, because the Wii U
Yeah. Yep.
like did not do it. And I think after
No.
the Wii U, there's probably a lot of people that are saying that same thing. Like, why
Yeah.
are you even doing hardware anymore? But
I
if
just-
the NX does well, like, you know, who
Sure.
knows? Like the Wii set the world on fire. So
That's true.
it's always possible that that Nintendo can have some crazy idea that like rejuvenates their entire hardware business.
Yeah, you're right.
I think Nintendo just needs to bring it back to basics and like listen to their fans, where it's like,
Yeah.
we get it. The Wii U was new and different, like, and that was cool then. But then we're over that. Like, just give us the games we want, and they're just not listening. They have these financial meetings and trying to figure out like what can make them the biggest buck. But really, when it comes down to it, like, most of us, we like remakes, but we just want new games on the platforms we play on.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. So some weird. Anyway, I guess we'll have to see how it pans out. Someone in chat did point out that like the only thing on the show floor will be Zelda, but they will have, you know, like whatever, their video or keynote with other products, showing a few other things, for not for the Wii U or the new console, but for some of the other shit. So anyway, but yeah, like that is, I don't, who knows? I mean, I feel like though every time we talk about Nintendo, it's never like, oh, I don't think we've ever said that makes sense in the last 2 years or 3 years with Nintendo, right? Have we?
Yeah.
I don't
just,
think we have at all.
The whole thing with the Wii U and like just finding like what controller you need to use for what game is so frustrating. And like the whole thing where your gamepad, if it broke, you couldn't buy another controller. You'd have to, well, not like officially, I guess. It was just such a nightmare trying to get controllers for that.
Yeah.
But hopefully it'll be an all new thing with the NX.
All right, so from news that doesn't really make any sense to news that makes moderate sense and is pretty cool. So Sega, they are finally embracing legal console game modding with something called the Genesis PC Emulation Hub, and this is something that's really neat. So obviously, like in the past, you know, it's let's just say legal gray area as far as playing this stuff, you know, altered ROM files and stuff through your computer's emulator. Sega now with this I believe it's called Mega Drive Classic Hub. Yeah. It's going to be a 3D front end for emulated Sega ROMs that you already own on Steam, basically simulating like a bedroom of a diehard Sega fan, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Like that you may have had in the mid-90s. There's a hub. It comes complete with virtual CRT TV, graphic enhancement filters, a virtual shelf of cartridge boxes, and a day-night cycle to show you just how much time you're wasting in front of decade-old games. Which I thought all of that was like a
So
joke.
cool.
But I don't think any of that's a joke. I think that's all part of what it is. So
and
I don't know,
Steam
it's-
Workshop support too,
and
which
Steam
is
Workshop
interesting.
support. Yeah, so it's really cool, and basically let you share your modified versions of your favorite retro Sega titles. So, this is really cool, and I mean, obviously, I don't know necessarily about a left field, but it's a cool thing that they're kind of embracing it, and we'll have to see what's going to happen. Obviously, like being able to change like the sprites and all that stuff, and I'm sure we'll see a bunch of. I haven't really looked at what's kind of come out of this. This was, I don't know how old this news was. This was the 20th. So
they announced it the week before last, but then since then there's like a bunch of crazy mods. Like people have like there's a Kirby
Yeah.
in Sonic, and there's like a Knuckles in Sonic. Like I've seen some weird Sonic characters in the Sonic games.
I think this one mod, this came out a long time before this, but there was one mod for, I think it was Sonic 2, where it turned all of the rings into onion rings. And so you tried to go through without eating them, and as you got more and more rings, Sonic would get fatter and fatter, and he'd move slower, and eventually he would just stop moving and die. And so you would have to get through the levels without getting any rings, instead of like trying all of them. I thought it was really cool. So
And there's also there have been some like funny mods going around on Twitter, but probably the one that caught the most traction was the mod Streets of Rage 2, except it makes that weird Tim Allen noise when people die.
I saw that. That's so good.
amazing. Oh
Which
man.
seems like pretty like an objectively better way to play that game, I would say.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's cool
all
that
right.
they're like officially supporting it, and it doesn't seem like there's really any restrictions on it, which I think is the crazy thing. Like people are just uploading arbitrary stuff, and that's kind of like that's what the Wild West of mods has always been with regard to emulation and stuff. But Sega's sort of officially supporting the unofficial stuff. I don't. It's a weird world we live in.
It is.
Props to
It
Sega
is.
for
It's a weird world we live in where like this anyway, the Sega's doing this and then the Nintendo shit we talked about and then fucking Activision bringing Call of Duty 4 again remastered for 60. This has been there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world. I don't know.
You
I'm like
say
pinching myself.
You say this is out of left field, but Sega, in its current form, allows the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter account to exist.
Yes,
which
that's
is
a good
basically
point.
just constant memes about
Memes.
Gotta Go Fast and Sanic and all of
It
these
is.
like
And
like,
Evanescence.
hilarious memes. So like, you know
Yeah,
what? This is actually
right.
maybe just par for the course with Sega.
That could be true. That could be true. All right, so Brandon, I'm sure you have something to say about this, but we've talked about the Division quite a bit. Brandon's put a lot of time into the game, but the bad news here is that news broke. Someone took a look at the Division's actual code, and basically there's tons of hacking and cheating going on right now, which is really very frustrating, I'm sure, for people that are trying to play the game seriously. And someone, a game networking consultant who's worked on a lot of pretty big titles, in a detailed blog post, laid out basically that the core problem of this game is the client-side trust and basic networking infrastructure, and that if they're going to get this thing, to be hack-proof or at least a little bit better, they're going to have to probably rewrite the entire fucking code, which is insane. I mean,
It's
how does that happen?
It's pretty crazy too. I was telling Brandon about this the other day online. The community manager for the Division he was streaming the game and it had been hacked and exploited against so often that the next day he had to play on Xbox One to avoid quote unquote annoyances because
Oh wow.
because it was so bad. So I mean, I don't know. It's unreal that they're letting this happen.
every piece of news since they've had a kind of hacking problem since the beginning, but now like with the Incursion coming out and like we had talked about that before, where like basically the people that are playing the game, like so many people are exploiting, and now now people are like actual proper hacking the game just by changing client side code.
Exactly.
That's like the bedrock upon which like every first-person shooter, basically every game, like every online game has server-side checks to where you can't just modify what's on your PC, to hack in the game. But it sounds like that is all that's needed to hack in the Division. That is like for a title this big, that seems absolutely crazy that they don't have some of these basic server-side checks.
It does, and then you say the keyword again, the keyword Ubisoft, and I'm like, yes. If anybody could pull this off, it is them.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
I don't know, but yeah, I mean, but you're right. Like, was a project that is this big, was this hyped with this much money, like then to come out. I mean, and his basically his end opinion is that there's absolutely like, he said. He basically said that I sincerely hope this trusted client model is not the case, like that he's maybe missing something. But because if it is true, my opinion of this is that can it be fixed is absolutely not on PC, not without a complete rewrite. If a competitive FPS, is networked with a trusted client network model, it's basically really difficult for him to ever see how that could be completely secure, like you're saying, Brandon. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, and they've got so many things to focus on, like between the thing that sucks is that all of the people exploiting, like they're not even hacking, right? They're just exploiting. But those people, like they're basically putting the game at like a completely different level than what they intended, right? Because now all of these hardcore players have like all the best gear because they've exploited. And so, like, now they have to take that into account when making future content and stuff, and probably change their change the direction of the game because of like the size of these mistakes, and that sucks for all the regular players of that game.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. Well, not unbelievable. Very believable, but just I guess just sad. But I didn't put any time in it. I mean, Brandon, you're pretty much done with it, right? You got played 40 hours.
I enjoyed it. But we talked about like the incursion, the actual incursion itself is just not fun. So I could see what like exploiting it is probably just as much fun as playing it for real. Which is to say, like neither one's fun, but at least when you exploit, you get the loot at the end. But yeah, like I haven't put any more time into it since then, just because I've pretty much hit the point at which if I weren't exploiting, it wouldn't be fun, right? Because like you get off the loot train, and the incursion like takes an hour or something, but you wipe on the last wave and you get nothing. Like it's just not, yeah. They have some real fundamental issues with that game from the hacking side, from the exploiting side, and just from like the content side. I think it's going to be a real challenge for them to keep up interesting content the way that something like Destiny has done.
Yep. All right, and we have one more piece of news that I'm assuming is very exciting for KD. Dark Souls devs, they're working on a new IP.
Yeah, so got some news. Believe in an interview with Miyazaki, the director, he talked about how there is not going to be, at least not now, or for the foreseeable future, another Dark Souls game. And he said that the series is over, and that From Software is already working on a new IP, which, I'll read a quote here, "There's no plans for any sequels, spin-offs, or tie-ins. I can't say for certain the possibility is zero, but like, for example, let me see, he goes on here. I didn't get too long to look at it. I was just mainly thinking of what this means for like the future of like From Software, because going by all of the like the Dark Souls games, it's pretty good. And I've always thought like, what else can they do? Like show some range. And going by maybe Bloodborne, that was definitely far out and different than like Dark Souls. And if it means more titles like that, then I'm definitely glad that Dark Souls is done, because by the end of the third one, with Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 and 2, I got really kind of like tired of the whole setting and aesthetic. Yeah, burnt out, definitely. But yeah, I'm excited to see what other kind of like ideas Miyazaki can like think of, because Bloodborne was like very far out. So if it means more crazy things like that, I'm all for it. Just a little quick hit.
Yep, definitely. Well, you keep it going, Katie, because we're rolling right now into the new releases.
Yes.
So hit us with them.
All right. Oh, one more thing. You talked about how the Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3 is still having 2 DLC packs still coming out.
Yes,
so
that's true.
Last. Yeah.
How long? Like, I'm curious with DLC though. In general, how long? Like, how much content does it actually add usually when they do DLC?
Let me see. It's usually for hours. I'd say like I'd say upwards of 10. It usually is about like a couple new areas, 4 or 5 new bosses. It tends to be around that area. Bloodborne had a really great DLC. Dark Souls 1 had an awesome DLC. But if we're getting 2 of those for 3, then I'm very excited. I can't wait. I would have to assume that might come out sometime in like November, I would say. But because that's what it was like for Bloodborne. But anyways, new releases on May 2nd. There's a game called Pitfall Planet, which is I just picked this one out. It was a couch co-op puzzle-solving game. Just going by screenshots, it looks pretty fun. It looks like you and someone else up to, was it 2,
yeah, it looked like a
players?
Good game for like my girlfriend and I to play or something. It looked like a good couch game.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Art style's
yeah,
pretty cool looking.
Yeah, it looks pretty cute. And no word on the price yet, but that comes out on 15 hours from now, is what it says. But yeah, next on May 3rd, the Battleborn Season Pass is being released. You can pick that up for $19.99. Don't miss out on that. That gets you 5 DLC packs. But yeah, the Season Pass is definitely coming out on May 3rd. Don't miss out.
The game is coming out
also,
too.
Oh, yeah. Battleborn, yes.
Yeah, wait, I'm like clicking on this. I'm like, what is this game called Battleborn?
No. You don't need that. Everybody wants the Season Pass.
I still don't actually know what this game is.
This is from the creators
It's basically
of Borderlands.
Overwatch.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I
heard they
downloaded-
went through some development, just I don't know, troubles once they found out about Overwatch to make it significantly different. I
Okay.
don't know what that means, but
Yeah, back when it was in open beta, I downloaded it and I played it for only 10 minutes before I just quit the game when they were like, I matched with 4 other people and it looked like we all went to like a PvE mission, like a, I don't know if you call it a raid, just like a co-op mission. I don't know if it's a MOBA. I don't know if it's like just a co-op single player game, if there are missions. I know there are heroes, champions, because that's the cool thing everybody's doing, all those characters. But maybe
Well,
IGN will
if
give
the
it an 8.
user-defined tags are to be believed, it is an action FPS multiplayer co-op MOBA with PvP. So,
There you go.
Yeah, always there. Apparently, it's in that.
oh, the next
Video.
game is only for robots.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes.
You're there.
Oh, did I robot? Oh,
You're
okay.
back.
Yeah,
Only,
you're fine.
literally,
You're fine.
every time we tell you that you're robot, you come back and it's perfectly fine. So it's just
Oh,
not-
okay.
You're good.
All right, it's not that bad.
This next one, Katie. Oh my god! I just opened it up. Oh, I'm fucking playing this.
Oh yeah,
Fragments of
definitely.
him.
This,
This looks
Fragments of Him is
Right.
Comes out on May 3rd. It's a looks like you're playing through the game in like a detached first person view, like a character just died and it's going through like his last moments and how his like friends and family are like reacting and grieving with his death. Definitely very story driven, very artsy.
yes.
Uh,
A story of
definitely-
love, memories, and hope. I cannot think of a better game to play with my Twitch chat. They love
Yeah.
the emotion. This is going to be perfect.
Definitely. The only bad news is that this wasn't made by David Cage, unfortunately.
That's true.
But
It's not.
but yeah, no word on the price, but that comes out on tomorrow. Looks like.
Yes. Wait. Yes, tomorrow. It's the 2nd right now.
Yes. I was thinking
Yeah.
like, wait, I thought it was May 1st. But next is a game called Hack It. I just kind of threw this in here. I love the idea. It's like you're going through and hacking. Like it's a puzzle game where you're given like different code. Like it's like you're hacking a computer, and the puzzle is how you hack it.
Right.
Look, all you
yeah,
need to
there was
know is the trailer starts out and it says hack into servers, become elite hacker. So if you're not sold, like this game is either for
Yes.
you or it's not for you, and you probably know already.
Yep. Yep. But if you
But
want
yeah,
to
that
become
one
an elite
comes-
hacker, you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the tools to learn. But yeah, that comes out on May 5th. And finally is this game called Hyposphere, which it's pretty simple. It's just kind of controlling a marble ball through a bunch of puzzles. It looks really beautiful. It's like Unreal 4. It's mainly just to be like a graphics showcase more than like a substantial game. But it gives me kind of like a Super Monkey Ball vibe to it in a way.
Yeah,
but I think
yeah,
it
it
looks
does.
interesting.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that comes out on the 5th. No word on the price as well. But yeah, that's going to do it for the new releases.
All right. Well, there you go. Man, Fragments of Him. Shit, well, I had that open. I need to pre-purchase that right now. Or, well, I can't buy it yet, but I'm going to put it on my favorites. Man,
Awesome.
it's going to be great. Okay,
Can't wait for the stream.
we're going to get into the viewer questions now. And we've got one from Jiffy Swift, who asked a very simple question, but a very deep one. Why has God forsaken us? So, kind of open-ended. I don't know if anyone wants to tackle this. I have a couple ideas, but
It's
anybody?
because it's because of memes, honestly.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
that's
can't think of
interesting
any
theory.
sure reason
Okay.
other than the world's adoption of just
Yeah.
memes and meme culture.
don't
I was
think
gonna
God-
say,
I don't think God
uh,
saw memes coming.
You think he got,
He's invading the
it
world.
just came out of left field and he was like, "I'm done. If I see another rare Pepe, I'm just gonna nuke this planet." So instead of nuking us, he went away. He just left. I was gonna say, I don't know, Snapchat, the Middle East, the current human condition, Periscope, probably a big one. Vlogs, BuzzFeed.
Are you saying
yeah,
the
BuzzFeed.
internet in general?
Yeah, so I think memes is part of it, but I think the internet. I think when the internet really started taking off after it was created by Al Gore, I think like.
You know.
I think God is just out. He was like, "This is just too much." I agree. So I think memes are a part of that, but I think it's
But so I think to
social
play,
media in general, God was like, I'm done. Like you people, you think you're so fucking important. I'm out. I can't handle it.
But so maybe that is his message back to us, right? The internet was pretty good for a while, but maybe like God is punishing us with these with these things, right? He's actually not he has not forsaken us. He's teaching us a lesson.
Oh, he's like, oh, you guys think you love yourselves that much.
Yeah.
Here's Periscope. Here's you might be right, Brandon. He's like, no, you've made your bed. Now I'll give you some more tools and you can lie in it and see how you do.
That's my thought. That's my thought.
That's pretty good.
It's a good thought. Yeah. So I hope I'm gonna go with that one. I mean, we can speculate, but Jiffy Swift, that'll be our official answer, I think.
I say when mukbang was invented, he was just like, I'm done. See you guys.
Oh man.
Like,
all right.
You don't need anything other than just to watch a live stream of somebody eating food really loudly, like right in their microphone. Like,
yes.
And he was like, well, if they're okay with this, I guess my job here is done.
Either he said his job's done or he just threw up his hands and was like, I've created something so stupid that there's no saving it. Is mukbang in Asia? Is that an Asian thing?
It's banned on Twitch.
No, I know it's banned on Twitch, but I mean predominantly though. It hasn't really been in
thing for sure.
It's in Asia, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think either he's forsaken us or he's working overtime to like try and bring us back into line, and it's hard to tell which.
Could be.
But I'll take my memes, thank you.
Yes, I'll burn in hell with my memes. It's okay.
I just want to say Pepe or whatever, the frog,
yes,
is the worst fucking meme that you can use. Like, no, it seriously is. Like, if you use it, I just like automatically like
ignore.
But Brad,
no, I am follow.
Hold on,
this is the bacon Pepe. You have been blessed to find the bacon Pepe.
Look, all right, it's definitely not the
this
rarest
is the worst.
meme
It is
anymore.
literally the worst.
But like, let's remember the days of Let's Troll Face. Like, I can go on 9gag right now, and I will find a lot more, like a lot worse stuff out there than a Pepe.
Yeah, honestly, right now Pepe is not as offensive to me as, like you said, some of those older ones, like the troll face.
Really?
Hold on. Here's the honest, like the shittiest thing that's in circulation right now is people taking videos and putting in like the Windows like startup sound. Like that is just not funny at all.
I haven't seen that.
Like that's the kind of stuff that makes you think, how far has like the expectation for humor for like humans like gone down to where people have had to like painstakingly think out like, you know, comedy sketches, and then you can like now you can satisfy an entire group of people just by the Windows sound. Or
that's right.
You know,
is it brilliant or is it us devolving? And you know, it's a good discussion. I don't know.
I think probably path.
we're on a rough path right now. Also, I did read an article about the average attention span of a human in like today's society because of, you know, not just Snapchat, but everything. Because of phones, memes. Right? Because of memes, right? And stimulation, and about how the average human, I don't know if this is still accurate, but it was like at the time, it was the average, or I don't know if it was just everyone or if it was a certain age group, but it was like 9 seconds of attention, and a goldfish is 11 or something like that. Has an attention span of being able to focus for like 11 seconds. And so honestly, like our attention spans are truly getting to the point that, you know, and I feel that too. I'm the same way. Like I get it.
I'm a product of that.
Just long enough to search for the right reaction GIF and click post.
Exactly. I mean, I can't focus. I really can't. It's bad.
You've always had the best like catalog of reaction like memes. Like I wanted to like reach out to you and see like where you go to find them.
Well, that's why
I think he's a Redditor.
I think that's probably why Twitter built it in. They built in GIF searching because you got to find the perfect one, and it's. I mean,
it takes too long to type a message.
Yeah.
First of all,
I mean, look, I can appreciate someone who finds just the perfect reaction GIF. It's an art.
Yeah, no, it's really
it's an art.
It's truly an art. It does. It takes. Yeah. Wait, you said that you like my reaction GIFs, or who were you talking to? Brad?
He was saying me, wasn't he?
Oh, Brandon.
No, I love Brandon's reaction GIFs that he.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, that's what I thought.
He always has the perfect ones.
Brandon does have. Well, you had you have a whole folder, right? Still, or no? You lost it. Didn't you have like a meme folder? I thought at one point.
That's cute. Like I just have one meme folder.
I've say that. Or not
just one.
No, I was saying
he has it categorized in alphabetical, and sure you do.
I have
We
no.
could
I
have a
have
whole
a I have a
terabyte
KB
hard drive.
mod. I have a KB mod like a bunch of KB mod memes, but I didn't have those saved on my hard drive. I had them saved on a service which I
Oh,
think
okay.
has lost all of the images. So
Oh.
I'm having to rebuild my KB mod meme folder. But no, the rest of my memes are intact.
Okay. Okay.
That's good. That's good.
By the way, I just got I got an email from Schlesinger versus Ticketmaster class action settlement. I'm included in this class action settlement, and I may be getting free Ticketmaster tickets.
Wow.
Because of this, because it has been settled. Sorry,
Oh.
breaking news. Though.
Breaking.
Very excited.
For a second, I
Breaking
thought
news.
this was a George Dalton thing. For a moment, sorry.
What? George?
I thought maybe you were being sued by him or something.
Oh no, well that's very possible, but no, George hasn't actually taken action yet. Though he has multiple times written me to ask me to take down that video, but I'm sorry, it hasn't happened yet.
Scott misread his email, and he's actually a defendant in the suit.
Probably am a defendant. Probably am. Oh Lord. Okay. Another question that we got from Leadface. What's up, Leadface? He said, you and your girlfriend have the same length hair. What length is it?
No. You
Good
have to have the same length hair. This is a
Oh, have to
scenario
have.
question.
Sorry, have to. Right. Okay. Yes. So, yeah, her length is your length. So, what are we looking at? I'm not a fan of short. I mean, it depends. Some girls can pull off short hair. I'm not a fan of short hair personally. On women in general, I'm sure that makes me a cis scum.
So are
But-
you saying you sacrifice and you go with
I-
long hair?
I would sacrifice. I would go, even though it would be really annoying, and I really like having my hair short, and it truly would be a sacrifice.
You
If
would
it meant my
you would
girlfriend
look
had to-
awful with long hair. You really
Dude, I
would.
look- Dude, when my hair gets, you should just see my. It's too long right now. I don't like it. But yeah, if I had long hair, it doesn't grow like it would, and it wouldn't just. It would just be a curly mess. It would be huge. I would. It would not be pleasant. But I would take that. I would take that hit if it meant that me and my girlfriend had to have the same length because. I'm just not into the short hair. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I mean, it depends too. I do think some women definitely pull it
like
off.
you
but
would. I think you would. You probably wouldn't look good even with like short length hair from a girl's perspective. Like that would still look very odd on you.
yes,
Like, and I wouldn't. I don't think I would want. Like, I don't think I'd want a girl that had hair as short as like I have. And so at that point, it doesn't actually matter how long it is because it's way longer than I would ever have it otherwise.
okay. Well, I mean, Brad, you already have pretty long hair right now. I mean, it's not like
Yeah, I always cut it when it gets to the awkward stage before I can actually get it into like a ponytail or something, or a bun or something. But in that awkward stage, I just cut it. But if I had to choose, I'd probably do like shoulder length because I
okay.
I don't
That's
know.
what I like to personally, but I like longer hair.
Yeah.
What about you, Katie?
I don't think I would mind the short hair on the
Well, you're
girlfriend.
3. Have you ever had a
But,
girlfriend before? Or?
No. I mean, that one girl I went down the slide with, I feel like, no.
Wow, I did not know where that was going. I'm glad you said.
I was gonna say
No.
Katie's answer here is purely theoretical.
Yeah, this is, like, I don't think 50% of the cast can answer this question.
Yes.
Or 75%. Or 20, wait, no, 25%.
25. It would be 25.
Shit.
See,
Yeah,
I'm
they
3,
haven't
I
taught
can't.
math in
I have yet to take basic
Yeah, I haven't-
arithmetic.
But in general, though, yeah, you don't mind
Yeah.
short hair. You're all right with
For
it.
the hypothetical girlfriend, I wouldn't mind the short hair. I would mind it
Okay,
less
that's
than me
bold.
having very long hair.
Okay. And Brayden, you're saying that.
And
But,
I don't
okay.
know. Now that I'm thinking about it, like we could get her a
Think
wig
about
or
helping you with
something.
Your haircut, or a little bit longer. I mean, is that what you're into?
Like, I mean, I do not prefer that hairstyle on a female. But I don't know. Like, I've never had long hair in my life, so it's honestly hard for me to say which would be worse from my perspective. Like, maybe actually having long hair would be terrible, and I would just I would just get used to a girlfriend with
Sure.
short hair.
That's true.
I don't
You
know.
might be
This
right.
is really hard to say. I don't,
So-
but I don't want long hair. Like I like having short hair. I like not having to worry about it. Like I just dry it off and it's there. Like I don't have to do anything special with it.
Totally
Seems
agree.
It seems like an incredible chore to have to like care about your hair on a level more than I have to right now.
Oh, it totally is. It's just every time I watch my girlfriend wash her hair and have to treat, I'm just like, or dye it and do or whatever. I'm just like, I can't. So maybe you're right. Maybe now that I'm thinking about it, because of how lazy I already am, and I just like having, like you said, just be able to wash my hair and have it
Like
be
you
as
and
it
I
is.
with long hair, we would just be disgusting because
It
we are
would be-
not
it would be-
we are not capable of taking care of long hair. Period.
No,
See,
we
this
wouldn't.
question's interesting because it seems like you guys think you actually would have a choice in this, but really when it came to it, your girlfriend
That's true.
or your wife would really have the final
I don't think we
decision
would be
here.
necessarily choosing.
Actually,
Though,
yeah, you're
Brandon,
right.
I feel like now that we're talking about this, we should do a challenge, which again, my girlfriend probably wouldn't even let me because she likes me with short hair. But to see, not cut our hair for, I don't know, Brandon, a couple months.
The thing is,
and see what we look.
I honestly couldn't even do it. Like I can't
know.
go if I go for even like a month. Like I normally get my hair cut
Yeah,
3
same.
weeks to a month. Like any more than that, and I actually like I can't deal with it.
He breaks out in hives.
Yeah.
I'm
can't
the
deal
same
with
way
it.
though. I'm like almost every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. My hair grows so anyway.
I've had short hair like pretty much since I was out of elementary school. Like the last time I had hair longer than than more or less what I have now was like when I was, I don't know, 10, something like that.
What does
I
it
don't
look
even
like
know
when
what
it's
that world
long?
is like. I don't even know.
Is
I've
it-
never, my entire adult life, I have had more or less this length hair.
Huh.
Interesting.
Well, now we have to find out.
Yeah.
This is
What we
this
what we can
question
do
marks the.
I mean, there's definitely Photoshop. You guys can. How about you? This is what I want someone in KBMOD to do, or whatever.
Okay.
One of the viewers, please just get a picture. There's many pictures of Brandon and I online that you could find. Photoshop us with different styles of hair as realistically as you can, and maybe for next week we can look at some of them and then discuss like
Yeah,
that's
a good
what's
idea.
what we like. If anybody wants to be up to that challenge or whatever, I would be very interested because yeah, you're right. In theory, it would be fun to test, or it wouldn't even be fun. In reality, I wouldn't be able to do it either. So we're gonna have Photoshop.
I would sooner shave my head because that would not bother me nearly as much. I don't know that I would love the way I would look, but at least I know that the maintenance it would actually probably be even better than I have now. Like you literally don't even have to worry about it.
Oh, Brad, I forgot there are things of me already with long hair out there.
I was
but
gonna say, yeah, those photoshops already exist for you.
they do. Oh, I forgot about that one. That's that's me as Kate Upton. If you're listening, well, merged with Kate Upton. It's pretty hot. But all right. We've got another question here before we get into a email question from Drake. This is from Amnesia Hayes, who asked us, "What's your favorite cylinder shape object?" Very interesting question.
Think of all the things that are cylinder shaped.
A lot of cylinder shapes. Yeah. I mean, wow. I don't know. Wow, this is really stumping me. Like a
Paper
nice.
towels. I'm just looking around
Towels
me.
are clutch.
Like
Paper
I
towels
really
are clutch.
I really like paper towels.
Toilet paper.
Wait, what?
Wait, hold on. I want to hear about Brandon's love for paper towels. Though.
Yeah, this is what
very
I'm
passionate.
interested in. This what?
Pringles can.
I like paper towels a lot because you don't have to dirty up an actual towel every time
Sure.
you want to clean your hands of something that is like kind of annoying, but not not the end of the world. So like when when my tea spills a little bit, right? I could go grab a towel, or I can just have a paper towel. And it's like, all right, great, it's clean. I throw it away. I actually spent I spent a decent amount of time this weekend because Hillary's out of town. I spent a decent amount of time this weekend cleaning our apartment, and it's just like paper towels are great because it's just complete. Aside from like the waste that I suppose you produce using all these paper towels, like it's just completely guilt free. Once you're done cleaning, you throw it out, and you don't have to worry about how gross the thing was that you just cleaned up because it's in the garbage.
Yeah.
And that's
I like
live
how
my
this
life.
started out sounding like a confession. Like, so I really like paper towels.
It's like, I really
Like-
love it.
I appreciate.
I was waiting
the
for something a
opportunity
little
to
bit darker.
explain myself.
To be done with them, but I agree. Paper towels are super clutch in many situations.
And the thing is, I don't feel bad about what they do to the environment because you know what? Have you ever seen like a tanker cross the ocean? That's like billions of rolls of paper towels being thrown into the garbage
That's how you
every second.
You see the tank? That is so many paper towels. Oh man. I mean, I agree too. I mean, I probably should care about the environment, but I mean, I use in my home, I own, there's toilet paper that is a very comfortable ply, and those fucking wet wipes as well, right? That make your butt feel really clean. And those are great. Those are literally the worst apps. I mean, I've literally watched specials on about how they are destroying the sewage system, and because they don't break down, and they cause these huge blockages.
Oh
and
wait, you put them in the
I just
toilet?
throw them away.
Yeah,
Well,
no, you flush them.
Yeah.
They're flushables. They're called,
Well, if they're made
These aren't
to be
Lysol
flushable,
wipes.
if they're made to be
wiping our
flushable,
ass.
then they're okay. But I
No,
think a lot of people flush the regular ones, which you're not supposed
Oh
to
no,
do.
I'm not flushing regulars, but the thing is, even the ones that are branded
Okay.
as flushable, they actually don't break down in the sewer.
Okay.
They actually just stay as they are. So it creates these huge blockages that cause millions for to unclog, and they're actually terrible. So, and I've seen that, and I still use them because they make my ass feel incredible after a nice,
Yeah, I have to vouch for that as well. They are amazing, but I always, even if they're flushable, I always just throw them in the trash can. Because I'm super...
What?
What? It's in your butt though. I can't get behind that. Yeah.
Wait, what's wrong with that? I'm not going to put them down the...
How?
I have a trash can in the
just
bathroom.
ask how.
Wait.
Let me ask delicately.
Hold on.
What?
How
This isn't that big of a deal.
How
Hold
soiled
on.
is the typical wet wipe?
Yeah, I guess it's how soiled is it? I mean, if it's not like,
Oh,
I mean,
no,
are we talking?
if it's bad,
What level?
it's not going to sit in like the bath.
Talking.
It's not like it stays in the bathroom. Like I take out I don't keep the trash.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fair.
I don't keep the used thing sitting in the can. Like if it's bad, no, I don't keep it in there. Oh, you guys thought I meant like I
thought you were literally just throwing it away like normal bathroom trash, and then being well, whoever's in here next is gonna have to deal with that.
Oh no, I mean if it's bad, I'm gonna take it out. Like I'm not gonna leave like a bunch of shitty, like.
This is still weird to me. I'm sorry. I can't accept this.
No, I'm doing a good thing. I'm not harming the sewage system.
That's true. I mean, see, and that's true. If you really care about the environment, you'll do what KD does. But I just can't. I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm just.
You want to attack me?
I don't have the squatty potty
Podcast.
either. I heard recently about that, where it's like it raises you up or whatever. Apparently, you're supposed to poop in a more natural position with this seat thing, like where you're like above. And apparently, it's supposed to be really good. So anyway, I might be purchasing that soon.
There was a girl, or a couple of girls in college, that they were from West Texas, and they like, I guess, I don't know if they were trolling me to this day. Let's be like, I'm gonna put that out there, but they did not ever throw their toilet paper in the toilet. They always threw it in the trash.
Wow.
And my thought was like, because that seemed very foreign to me. But then I thought more about it, and I was like, maybe the place they came from didn't have great sewage systems, and so maybe that was like how their parents raised them. To say like, don't you dare put that down the toilet, because it's going to clog up the entire house. But I thought that was very odd. So maybe Katie is not, he's actually.
This shit's like out of fucking Borat or something. Like this is. Like, are you kidding me?
No,
just flush it. Are you no?
Oh man.
Because I get like, there's been times where it wasn't really recently, but it got clogged up. The things that clogged up one time. So what? What?
No, I love where this is going. So you were like,
no,
I'm not gonna
so
flush
it got
that.
clogged, and it ended up having our entire front yard like dug into
God,
like a giant hole of us trying to get like a big clump of like someone had put like socks down the toilet, and so now I got and that happened when I was young. I'm paranoid about putting anything in the toilet.
Wait, someone
I'm not
in your
gonna put it in the
household, or
trash
someone like in your neighborhood?
Oh, someone in the household.
Probably a little kid. My dad, when he was a little kid, flushed a golf ball down the toilet, and then lied about it. And his father, for 6 hours in the pouring rain, had to dig up the drainage, in the sewage. And finally, 6 hours later, pulls out the golf ball, and oh my God, my dad still talks about like he was so dead. But yeah, that's terrible. So.
But I have a favorite cylinder-shaped object. This is kind of stretching it. It's kind of a cylinder. It's the gold medal extra life
Okay, that's a nice
for
answer.
raising More
Yeah.
than $1,000.
I
I'm very
suppose
proud
that
of
is
this.
technically a cylinder.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right,
that
Alan.
still doesn't make up what's fucked up with you, but yeah, that's really nice.
It's not fucked up if I take out the trash. I will
Oh,
debate
man.
this.
Brad, that's all right. Brad lives in a first world sewage area. He doesn't
I was
know.
gonna
He
say,
doesn't know.
I feel like I had to check my privilege, and I was like, you know what, that does sound weird, but also I should be thankful that I've never lived in a place where like the sewage getting clogged up because of toilet paper was ever like a going concern.
Yeah. Yeah. Me either. Well, actually, that's not true. When I lived, anyway, I won't even get into South American toilet stories.
At this point, I just wouldn't doubt that Katie's
that's
just
right.
shits in the tub and then fucking stomps it down the thing. Like,
Hey,
Like-
that'll decompose.
Yeah, it'll
on.
just after a while, if you run water long enough, it'll break down and go down the drain.
Look, he
Like,
cares
where
about
else
the.
am I
We've
gonna-
established that he cares about the environment.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
He's gonna
Where else am I
shower
gonna-
anyway.
yeah, exactly. You might as well do your. I mean, I knew people that used to do the dishes when they took a shower at the same time to save water. So, you know,
That sounds awful.
that's actually 100% true, and so disgusting, but did happen. All right, we're gonna finish up here with an email from Drake who says and asks us. Valve has been under fire recently for their role or lack thereof in CSGO betting services and its impact on minors taking part. Similarly, ESL has just banned Team YouPorn from participating at their events despite any offer from YouPorn regarding rebranding, as they were told that as long as they were funded by the parent company YouPorn, they were going to be banned. Any child can lie about their age on the internet to gain access to content they would otherwise not be able to see. Steam doesn't even post the ESRB ratings for something like CSGO on the store's page. They just add an age gate prior to opening the page with no mention of the reasons the game is rated as it is. My question is this: how relevant do you believe that age is in current day video games and their presence in the live streaming world? The only time I ever see it being brought up in conversations are about M-rated games. Is like when the only time I see it being brought up in conversations about M-rated games is when issues like the two above arise, outside of the realm of video games, but still adult content that technically only adults should be seeing. So, an interesting question.
well, I want to say that, this really comes down to parents and they're just like
Yes.
not paying attention what their children are doing on the internet. Like, I remember like my group, my peers and I, like, that was when parents were like starting to ease up. Like, I feel like we were able to kind of just explore and do whatever the fuck we wanted on the internet. And now I feel like parents just like accept it. Like, oh yeah, the internet's fucked up. I don't know what my kid will do as long as he's not charging me money. So it's like,
Yeah. I don't know. I'm scared about that because if I have kids at some point, I know about the fucked up shit that I saw, and who knows how advanced it's gonna be by the time. So part of me is like, again, yes, there will be a certain level of monitoring, but there's only once somebody has an internet connection, unless you're gonna put on super strict parental guidelines, and even then, those can always be gotten around in some form. It becomes an uphill battle that can't be. I mean, again, I know what you're saying. It depends on the age that you're talking about, but I don't know.
I think
At a
even
certain
Steam
point-
though, like you can age gate, like you as a parent, you can set up a child account. Like,
Yes,
to me,
true.
it's just ignorance and lack of caring from parents.
I think that's a lot of it. Yeah, I think that's a lot of it.
I think it's like over time, it feels like the world just sort of progresses because it has to. Like if you think about back in the 50s and 60s, like the stuff that they considered only for mature audiences is like super tame by today's standards, and I think the internet just accelerated that because, like you said, Scott, like just stuff that we saw on the internet, when we were pretty young, like that. Again, I'm not saying this is a good or bad thing, but like it takes a lot to like scar me at this point.
Yeah, same.
Because
you guys
yeah,
remember
we've
when
been
Goatsy was
desensitized.
just fucking Goatsy and disgusting, and now Goatsy's a meme. Like Goatsy's not even disgusting to people; it's a fucking meme.
That's a
at
better
this
meme
point.
than Pepe, but yeah.
But we're talking about how far we've come. Like
I think it's more or less it's going to be impossible to keep that, like to keep your child from not seeing any of that, especially
Sure, well,
when
yeah,
when you look at even something like Game of Thrones, is so popular that like you can tell your child not to watch it, But the fact that they're hearing about it constantly, and that like they know it's such a hugely popular show and everything, like they're going to want to see it. And if they have an internet connection that is not like completely locked down, they will find a way to watch it.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. It's tough. Like I think makes me fear being a parent, because I think it more and more comes down to the parents taking an active role in what, and like what they want their child to be able to watch, with the understanding that like you will not be able to stop them from watching anything. All you can control is like their education around what is and is not reality, and like what you shouldn't replicate and things like that.
Totally. I mean, and to answer like the gambling question again, like that does come down to, I mean, they've been under fire because they haven't talking, as far as the gambling stuff goes, right? Like, the game is rated M. To me, at that point, as far as it comes to Valve, I don't think it's their job.
Well, what can they do?
What can they do? They can't. Their job is, like you said, their job is not to parent. If some kid, again, I know for a fact there are probably millions of people that play CS:GO that are under 18 at this point, and probably shouldn't be, not necessarily playing the game, but when it comes to like the skin betting and all that kind of stuff or whatever else, or opening cases. But again, that comes down to that. I mean, that's the decision of the parent, and if they're not involved at all or whatever else, and they're just letting it be, I mean, what is Valve supposed to do to police that? They can't be going like. And it doesn't help their business in any way.
The thing is, too, the only way that these kids are getting these skins in the first place is by paying for them, or by getting them through a case or something. Like, if the parent is not aware of like that their kid is buying a bunch of cases or buying skins off of a website or something, like if the parent's not aware of that, then I feel like that's sort of where it's got to start. But also, like, I think that stuff will end up getting legislated over time. It's just that it's not there yet because it's a new thing. But, like, it will end up getting probably some sort of federal or state-by-state legislation. Like, Valve will probably end up being forced to do something about it. Or who knows? Like, who knows? It's the Wild West right now. But I think ultimately it comes down to, like, the parents should be aware of what their kid is spending. And if your kid is obsessed with gambling skins, then the question really is like, where did they get all those skins in the first place?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess it's not to say that there. I mean, and it is. I mean, there is this thing where, kids that are getting into. I mean, definitely like the addiction. Gambling addiction is a serious thing, and absolutely. Well, I think probably hundreds of thousands of impressionable children will probably start with CS:GO betting with the way that it is, and then maybe parlay that into a lifetime of addiction. Possibly, it's possible, but like you said, it's the Wild West right now, and I don't know really what can be done. I think you're right. Maybe they're going to be forced to take a stance one way or the other, because it's not like, it is kind of a weird gray area, because Valve has not come out against, right? I mean, they basically what they say is this is there's all the disclaimers, right? Like, it's like this is not associated with Valve in any way, right? Like, you have to see all that stuff.
They're technically not doing any of it. It's all enabled via third-party sites that just happen to use their API and the virtual goods in the Steam ecosystem. But it's not like they're not aware of what's going on either.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They're definitely aware. So I guess we'll have to see, like you said, if they do get forced to kind of address it. But I think we're all just agreeing, though, that it is coming down to a lot of this starts and stops with like people being aware of what their kids are actually doing, right?
I mean, any like half smart teenager who takes an interest in technology, like, one, you're probably not going to be able to lock down their computer or their internet connection. And two, like, if you don't allow them to buy the game or something, like if you just arbitrarily tell them like you're not allowed to play this, they'll find a way to play it. They'll pirate it. They'll do something, right? They'll get around whatever you tell them. I think the only way to like fix the problem for your child is to like have an active role in like what they're playing. And if they want to play Counter-Strike, then maybe like you play it together or something, right? And like teach them that, hey, just because you shoot people in a video game, like, yeah, that's fun, and we'll watch pro players do it and stuff, but like, you have to remember this is a video game, and like, hey, don't go shoot people in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is a weird world we're living in too, because even just talking about streaming and all that kind of stuff, right? Like even people in my stream, like when I talk to people, like I don't even know what, because I'll do sub interviews, and there's people that are, 16, 15 years old that are super cool and they're awesome to talk to. But I'm like, I just don't even know in the world, like, what if their parents come in, they're like, oh, so you subscribe to this dude and you're talking to him over the internet? I think about that stuff. And I'm not saying, I think there's a lot of parents that are just like whatever with it, but it is crazy kind of the levels of access that the internet has given with how fast, like with broadband and stuff being pretty much prominent everywhere now, and like without any kind of monitoring and stuff like that. I mean, even if you look at stuff that has happened with like some of these YouTube scandals and like underage and minors, and even just like DMs and photos and all that kind of stuff, like it is a serious thing. I don't know if there's any kind of lockdown or like answer that solves it all, because there isn't. It's different in every situation, but it is kind of a weird era.
Just don't
procreate. That's really the only way to protect yourself.
Your child is going to be like horrifically messed up by the time they hit teenage age.
I mean, I think so. I don't think there's any way around it. So this is really depressing, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, there's really no hope. But I don't know. Like it is an age where before it's like, okay, yeah, before the internet, like 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds weren't interacting with 20, 28-year-olds.
Yeah.
That they wouldn't otherwise ever run into, other than like if it's a friend of. It's just weird. It's good in a lot of ways. It's cool that this is an outlet, but it comes with its own set of challenges too. It's just.
I think it'll be really. It'll be so different in like 10 or 20 years when people like us are kind of the parent age and stuff, and like there will be a whole different set of norms that we grew up with.
There will.
Where like my parents, and I'm sure Scott, your parents, and really all of our parents, like they have like no concept of how we grew up, because like their childhood was so starkly different from ours, that I'm sure it'll be the same thing for us in like 10 or 20 years. It's not.
It will.
It's going to be so different that like we're just going to be trying to keep up with like the things that our children know, and I don't know. Kids are doomed, really.
No, it really is true. And we can say, like, I even think about, like, there was a time when I was like in my earlier 20s or even younger, I was like, man, I'll never be not hip with it. And then I see shit happening. Like, I'm only 28. I'm going to be 29 this month. But like, and I'm like, I don't fucking get it. But the kids are eating it up. You know what I mean? Or like lingo or like
I don't even
shit
have
like
a Snapchat account. And like, I understand conceptually what it is. I get why it's appealing, but I don't have one. I don't really think I need one. And that is potentially me falling out of touch with the younger generation entirely, because I can't relate to what even goes on in high school, and like what apps they're using, and like how they play games, all that stuff. Like I just we'll eventually lose touch with that, and we'll be the old folks.
I guess it's weird because we're going to grow up in a time where we were at the burgeoning age of all this technology, and the internet really kind of connecting the entire world. So we were like at the start or the cusp of that. And now, like you're saying, I mean, I can't even think about 20 years down the road when we're in our 40s or 50s, like what, like the kid, like someone that's 13, like what
these kids are growing up in a world filled with memes. When we were like teenagers, memes didn't exist. I don't know if that's like even possible to comprehend at this stage in life, but like there was a time that memes did not exist.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
You're absolutely right. I know. It's hard to imagine. No, it really is. and so like our version of our parents being like, I walked, you know what it is? It's like, I walked to school in 3 miles of driving snow. Ours is going to be like, I fucking used to have to log into fucking AOL Instant Messenger on fucking, 56K broadband, or you know what I mean? Like it'll be the same thing. It'll just be different, because no matter what anybody says, when you're like, I won't turn out like my parents or whatever else, I hate to break it to you, but you do, and you can't avoid it in some form. You know what I mean? Like
you're upset.
You pick up all that stuff.
You're upset that your stream is not in 4K, that it's in 1080p. I remember when we were listening to shoutcasts on Winamp.
See? Exactly. That's what it's gonna be in the future. It's gonna be insane.
Just a kid question: like, if you had kids, would you start them out on the current gen, or would you make them go through like this Nintendo 64 days?
That's a great fucking question an idea. Like I like to think that I would want to start them, like have them be really well rounded and learn all that stuff. Like have their mind blown, because that's how I grew up. Like I didn't have any console. I when the Dreamcast was out, I got my first Sega Genesis, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I was so far behind for so long. I kind of like that idea, but
it's hard to say too, because like when we were growing up, I feel like the games that were in vogue, which like Mario and Sonic and stuff, I feel like they were easier to understand for a younger kid, whereas like you can't introduce a kid to like some super complex game. Like they're not gonna be playing Dark Souls or something.
Oh yeah, as soon as my kid turns 5, I'm giving him the fucking controller.
If he doesn't beat Dark Souls in like the set amount of time, you're gonna beat the shit out of him, aren't you, Katie?
Yeah,
like,
I don't want him anymore.
He's gonna learn discipline one way or another.
But that's crazy though. That's crazy though, because you see kids out there playing games on tablets, where it's like,
no, it's true.
How are you playing this?
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah. My girlfriend's niece, she's like 3 years old, and you should see her use a fucking
Katie's
cell phone.
We could set you up with her.
It's insane. Yeah, yeah, she is 3. No, but like really, I literally watch it. Like I'll watch her take the phone, and she's just like literally swipe like, and she's 3, and she has like the muscle memory and understanding of use of like way beyond even what some of her like her parents. Like she's like closing apps, and like I'm just like it's blowing my mind. So yeah, it's just the acceleration of that, and like just them not knowing any different. Like yeah, I always had fucking. Oh yeah. Oh man, I remember when 4K was the shit. Who knows? In 30 years, like yeah, now we're in the fucking floating.
What do you
space
mean this
room.
isn't in VR? What age or what decade are we in?
You played video games on fucking TVs and monitors? What the fuck?
What?
I can't believe it. I mean, honestly, those are the conversations. It's fucking. Anyway, man, this is making me real scared. We got to slow it down, guys. We need to have a fucking disaster where it's just going to stop all technology at the current state. It's fine, okay? 4K exists. We don't need any more. I'm just on 1080p right now, okay? I just got off of 1440 by 900, okay? So I can't. We just need to stop it all, okay? Just take a snapshot.
Needs a little more time with the current gen.
I do with the current before it's going too fast. Maybe I should start like a cult where we believe that we can only watch things on 1440 by 900, and we keep like there's only a certain internet speed that's allowed, and I don't know.
Like, what does the Amish of the future look like? Is it like they force themselves to like only watch stuff on CRT monitors, and
yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a good question. Oh man, yeah, Angela. See, like this is real. Angela's pregnant with her first child right now, and she's worried. I mean, Angela, I don't want to make you more worried, but you should be. A lot of questions to consider, but I'm sure you'll be fine. I'm sure, actually, you should just consult us. We seem to have great ideas on how to raise children when none of us have them. But
yeah, just send in your parent rearing question or your child rearing questions.
Actually, I'd really like that. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Please send us parenting questions that we have no education on.
And then we can answer them. And then when we actually have kids, we can go back and listen to how fucking stupid we were. Like, wow, we really thought that's how it would work.
Well, and then I want to like hear her follow up too. Like I tried what you guys suggested, and it was a fucking failure. Like
a disaster.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, look, we have a 3-year-old. We have someone about to graduate from college. We have Scott and myself who are a little bit older. So I feel like
Scott's a man child.
Yeah, we have at least like a wide range of like male opinions.
True. Yeah, I think it'll be great, Angela. I don't think there's any way that this could go wrong. So she's just had haha in chat with 3 exclamations. So I think Angela's that to me. She's signing the contract right now. She's in. We're helping her raise her child. This is going to be perfect. I can't. Twitch plays child rearing. Dogger Patrol, yes. It's basically what's happening.
You laugh, but
oh, but totally in the future, gonna happen.
I mean, I'm just saying that would probably get viewers.
It would. It absolutely would. Oh, fuck. Donger Patrol. All right, I'll give you credit for the idea, but that's how I'm gonna raise my child. It's gonna be all on the live stream. It's gonna be on a live stream with some kind of like actual device, like that the child has to be attached into.
Chat gets to choose like carrots or peas.
Exactly. Will my child go to the fridge for a snack? Will it be carrots or peas?
This sounds exactly like what they put chimps through.
Well,
but
sorry.
Chat gets to like vote for bedtime. Like, do they get to stay up for 30 minutes longer? Do they get to play one more episode of Thomas the Tank Engine?
Oh man,
Joke, but
that
that
would be brutal.
even in a fucking parody environment, that would get so many views. Like people would love it. So basically, real life
so much
Sims.
anarchy.
Yeah, it's happening. All right, guys. Well, this would be the part of the show where Brandon, we would do reviews. Now we didn't have a podcast last week, so I will just blame ourselves for that. That's why we didn't have any reviews this week.
But see, you would think that after two full weeks, we would have
that's true.
Dozens of reviews
Yeah.
just sitting in the queue waiting to be evaluated, but we didn't. So we have no podcast review this week. But if you would like to leave us a review, this is the time of the show where normally we would love to feature one of the many 5-star reviews that we have received on this podcast. So if you leave us 5 stars, that is the only thing you have to do. The rest of it's up to you. And if you need some inspiration, you should go back a few casts and listen to some of the reviews we've gotten recently, which have actually been very high quality. And so, yeah, we'll hopefully feature at least one next week.
Yes, we hope we will. Wow, this was a long-ass episode. My goodness, it's 1:30 my time. All right. But it was a fun one, guys, and we will be back. Yes, we will be back next week with episode, what are we even on? We are on episode 233. So 234 next week again. Brad discussed it a lot in the announcements, but check out the website. There's a lot of stuff going on, community stuff. Vote in the poll in regards to if you would be interested in if we did a Pittsburgh kind of open LAN idea, possibly with Extra Life. You can find Volition at Volition, VOL1TION. I am at APL Fisher. Katie Zen is at Katie Zen 18. Brad is at Hutchison 15. And yeah, we'll be back next week to help you raise your child and discuss other things.
Oh, and
I'm
real
sure.
quick, if any listeners or viewers are going to be at DreamHack Austin this coming weekend, I will be there. So
Awesome.
Wear your KBMOD A shirt and come say hi.
All right, guys. We will see you later. Farewell.
Yatta!